equity loan. Hey, it's Dennis Cox from my friends at Loan Pronto. Imagine a completely hassle-free way to cash out your home equity. No appraisals, no paperwork, no waiting. Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan uses AI-driven tech to get you approved for cash out in as little as 1 day. One client got $100,000 approved in under 24 hours, wiped out their debt, launched a home improvement project, and is now saving over $1,000 a month. Instant approvals, low fixed rates, fast transfers. Get cash to consolidate all your debt and get a fresh start for the new year. Call Loan Pronto now and see how much you qualify for. Imagine this time next week, you could be credit card debt-free. Call 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, on approved credit, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Whether it's the future of college football or my love for the Ryder Cup, it's all found in the Best of the Adam Gold Show podcast, brought to you by Coach Pete at Capital Financial Advisory Group. Visit us at capitalfinancialusa.com.
Oh no, my phone.
Hear that? It's the sound of a skater dropping her phone and smashing it on the ice. Yep, it's definitely broken. But at Verizon, we got you. Black Friday starts now. Trade in any phone, any condition from one of our top brands and get a new Samsung Galaxy S24 Plus on Unlimited Ultimate and Watch 7 and Tab S9 FE 5G. That's up to $1,900 in value. So you'll save big on 3 great gifts. Hurry into Verizon this Black Friday. Service plan required for Watch and Tablet. Up to $1,900 value based on phone, watch, and tablet. Trade in and additional terms apply. See Verizon.com for details.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com.
They score! WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on radio, web, app, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. It is a WRAL weather alert day for that chilly rain that's falling outside. Not a great day to be out at all. Our high temperature only in the low to mid 50s. A few thunderstorms possible this evening. Overnight low down to 47, and still a small chance of a shower early Friday, but it should pull out pretty quickly, and we'll see partly cloudy skies in the afternoon and a high near 60.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 3 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones currently down 125 points at 43,832. Market update brought to you by the Good Feet Store. Ready to step into a healthy and active lifestyle? Come to the Good Feet Store and experience the difference. Discover how a simple step can lead to a life of pain-free possibilities.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Happy Thursday to you. I'm Tim Donnelly. Graham Hill producing the show. Dennis Cox getting a little jump start on the weekend. And Graham, this has nothing to do with you stepping in. I just want that to be clear. But for the first time this year, I think there's some real concern for the Canes.
Oh, no. It would happen when I'm filling in again.
Luckily, it happened. Like, if it would have happened tonight, then I think we could use the superstitions to blame you. But it happened last night. So it was last night against Utah is where I started to have my first concerns. Which, by the way, every NHL season has concerns. I don't know if there's been a team since I've been covering the NHL who truly went 82 games and all the way through the postseason without ever having their fan base question them at some point or get worried about something or have something happen that piqued the radars. But for the first time this year, concern for the Canes is real. Canes, they were 11-3 coming off a dominant win going into last night's game. right? And that's not to say like the 3 losses didn't have their moments, right? They had a couple of very bad periods this season. But for the most part, you could write those off. You could, here's why, or, there was a dramatic return to form very quickly. So your fears were alleviated almost before you realized you were fearful. Last night opened some worries. Injuries, first of all. Pyotr Kochetkov did not finish the game after one particular play. He was down on the ice, grabbing at his leg, kind of, you could tell, very, very concerned, in some discomfort. He stayed in the game, gave up a goal, did not look like himself. They took him out. Did come back to the bench, but you can sit on the bench with some injuries. That might be a thing. We're not going to get a ton of details. We don't have a ton of details. I can give you the post-game injury updates from Rod Brind'Amour. Graham, jump to that clip here. It's Rod Brind'Amour on the update or lack thereof on Pyotr Kochetkov.
No, I mean, I'm hoping he's all right. I haven't even checked on him yet, but he did, I guess they get banged up there. I don't know yet.
Not a ton of help.
There you have it.
But I mean, the game had just ended. What was he? He's not a doctor. You know what I mean? I don't know what else we were going to get. Even if it were another sport where they are required to give more in-depth, more detailed injury reports, I don't know if you'd get more than that right after the game. So that happens. Obviously, Seth Jarvis is out with an upper body injury. That's day-to-day. Freddie Anderson, the goalie counterpart for Pyotr Kochetkov, has been out for a while now. Still no estimate on when he returns. He's listed as week to week. Goalie becomes an issue if Pyotr Kochetkov is, even if he doesn't miss time, if he's less than his top self, that becomes an issue. And it's an issue that the Canes have been dealing with for a long time, which is your skaters, your forwards are elite, your defense and your system do such a good job of not putting a ton of strain on the goalie. You just need the goalie to make the saves they should make, and occasionally a nice one. And they've struggled with that. And now you're going down to potentially your third goalie in Spencer Martin. Then there's the Aho thing. And yesterday I asked the question on should we be concerned, what's going on. I'm not concerned with Aho, but there needs to be a correction. It was Chip Patterson, who is a very good friend of the Adam Gold Show, which airs before this one, and it was Corey Lavalette, who also covers the Canes. Just 2 other journalists. They cover the Canes. I'm watching the game yesterday, and they tweeted out at almost the exact same time, Aho needs to shoot the puck. And I went, yeah, okay. So we're all getting there at the same time. We're all arriving at the same place, because yesterday we had the conversation on this show. They're having the conversation as they watch it in the game last night. Sebastian Aho has to score goals. And I know, and we ran the stats the other day. Dennis brought him up. He starts slow darn near every season, and he's had stretches of 5, 6, 7 games without scoring a goal within the first 12 or 14 most seasons. I'm not just going to chalk it up to that's how he's been, so that's how it has to be. The guy has to score. The guy has to score. And then my last thing that kind of piqued my concern is this team throughout this year, it's not that they hadn't been dealt adversity, right? They've given up goals they shouldn't. There's been fluky goals off skates and things that they gave up. They've had injuries. Like I said, Freddie Anderson, Seth Jarvis to this point. But I've never seen them rattled. I've seen them kind of, have the snowball working against them. You give up 5 goals in a period, but it never looked like they were panicking. When Pyotr Kochetkov left the game yesterday, the energy and the life of the Canes appeared to be sucked out of their uniforms for 15 minutes. Just gone. It was noticeable. It was palpable. You didn't have to be a diehard hockey fan and know all the schematics of what they were trying to do to just look at those games and go, yeah, they're not the same team they were 15 minutes ago prior to the injury.
It reminded me a lot of what we saw in the Avalanche loss, where all it took was just one bad period for it to just snowball, and everybody's like, what's going on? We can't get out of this.
Except it didn't have to, like, if you're playing bad, that's one. The Colorado loss, they played poorly, right? And giving up goals, changing the way you play, that makes sense, right? You give up a goal. All right, now we have to be more frenetic. We have to come back. We're down 2 now. All right, we have to be even more frenetic. All right, let's take more chances. Having your guy get hurt doesn't necessarily change the situation, right? It shouldn't really change your outlook that much. Other than, I guess, you might want to play extra well to support Spencer Martin, who's in there in a tough situation. Rod Brindamore was asked what went wrong for the team in the loss last night. This was a post-game. Rod's thoughts.
Well, they got a couple quick ones. We had about 3 or 4 minutes. I don't even think it was bad. It just we let them get some chances, and then they all went in. I mean, it's just the way it went. Their goalie was obviously the story. I mean, we definitely had enough scoring opportunities, but kind of had that little lull there for a couple minutes, and that cost us.
So I paint all of that to just say this is real. And by the way, like, Martin Necas scored, right? So it's for the 11th straight game with a point. And
there's a bright spot.
And well, it is, but also Martin Necas scored and you still kind of got manhandled. Right? It's the thing that you've been depending on didn't go anywhere. It's if you ever watch a game and LeBron scores 6 points, I'm like, yeah, the Lakers probably aren't going to win because they've been depending on LeBron to do more than that. Martin Necas this year has been the thing they can depend on. He scored. Didn't play great, started slow, but I mean, you're never going to hear somebody complain about a forward who gets a goal in the game. So it's by the way, the setup by Gostisbehere was bananas. I love a hockey pump fake. I fall for it every time. I'm like, goal. So that was a really good play. They still got kind of manhandled. So 11-3 becomes 11-4. You're not sure your goalie situation moving forward. Who knows when Seth Jarvis is going to be back. You're still waiting on your best player to find a rhythm as a goal scorer. Add all that up, I'm concerned.
And let's not forget to mention the power play has still struggled a little bit. Even though they scored on a power play goal, I mean, 7 minutes of power play time in the third period, and you can't take advantage. Having flashbacks to the second round series last year of the playoffs.
Yeah, we didn't even get into that. The end of the game was weird. You get the instigating, the 5 minute, you can score as many as you want, major, and it was actually, I watched the game at home, obviously, was not in Utah, and it was almost disheartening hearing the excitement from Mike Maniscalco, the voice of the Canes, kind of wane, because he was, as you should, as a broadcaster, he was reminding fans of the rules, right? This is a major penalty. They can, if they score, the power play does not go away. You can continue scoring. And at the beginning, it was very exciting. It was like an opportunity. You have 5 minutes. This could change the game. They've opened the door. You can come back. Here's what you have. And then as it went along, he just it became more just reading the fine print of, now it's going to continue. If they score, they'll get it back. And it just, hearing the excitement wane, that was a strange ending to the end of the game. But I think the game ended when Kochetkov got hurt. Not because Spencer Martin isn't good enough to win a game. I think it ended when Kochetkov got hurt because the team wasn't the same after. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. By the way, I just looked it up. Let's go ahead and check it out just so I can give you the appropriate numbers here. You brought up the PK. Let's see where Utah ranks. Utah is 22nd in penalty kill percentage.
Nice.
22nd in the league. So probably should have been able to find a goal with 7 minutes of power play. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we move on, Tim Donnelly here for Window Nation. It's been a while since we had a straight-up kind of rainy day like we have right now. And it's first of all, that's cool. I'm not a fan of rainy days, but I will give you this. It's an opportunity to test your windows a little bit. All right? It's an opportunity to walk around and look and see, because if your windows are closed and there's any kind of moisture, we're talking condensation, we're talking moisture coming in at any of the joints, any of where the sealant or caulking is put, any of the window panes, that is a gigantic sign that you need to call Window Nation. And matter of fact, right now is a great time to call Window Nation for this reason. Aside from your windows needing to be replaced because they're letting moisture in, it's 50% off all window styles right now, plus 0% interest for 60 months. And they come with a lifetime warranty. So you get the great deal, right? Even if you're like, oh, you know what? I might need windows 2 years from now. I want to get the most. Well, guess what? You pay for them now. You get the deal of 50% off all window styles, 0 interest for 60 months. You buy them now. You get them installed now. They come with a lifetime warranty. So 2 years from now, you could wait, or you could just have them with the lifetime warranty and feel good that they'll last. Ready for this? A lifetime. 33,000 5-star reviews on Google. They have the stats. 96% customer satisfaction rating. 96% of windows installed require no follow-up service. They should have a trading card like we used to have with sports cards. You go to the back, you see like RBIs, home runs. Go to the back, see Google 5-star reviews, see customer satisfaction rating, all the details. And you know what else would be on the back of that trading card? Their phone number, 866-90-NATION. They want to come out to your house for a free evaluation, consultation, demonstration, and give you a free estimate as well. 866-90-NATION is the number to call to schedule, or you can head to windownation.com. That's windownation.com. We'll take a break. When we come back, NC State men's basketball got the win. They're 3-0. They beat Coastal. There was something very obvious sticking out that I want to point out for NC State that they're going to have to fix. Coming up next.
Hey, it's Adam Gold, and do you have a late-night craving for in-depth analysis on the Carolina Hurricanes and their latest game, their latest win, their pursuit of the Stanley Cup? Well, I can quench your thirst. I can feed that appetite on the Canes Corner podcast, the morning after edition, which drops the morning after every Hurricanes game. Get it wherever you get your podcast. Brought to you by the Aluminum Company of North Carolina.
At Uline, they know going the extra mile takes hard work. For companies pushing to go further, Uline will go the distance with you. 24/7, they answer the phone to get you the shipping and industrial supplies you need. Business can move fast. Unexpected large orders, adverse weather, new safety guidelines, and changing economic trends. Uline works hard keeping 41,000 items ready to ship, minimizing detours on your way to the extra mile. Visit uline.com.
Attention Canes fans, your Carolina Hurricanes are calling on you to bring the energy to Lenovo Center. Get ready to immerse yourself in the electrifying atmosphere of the loudest house in the NHL. Join us in the stands to witness thrilling goals, epic hits, and be a part of the heart-pounding action. Don't miss out as we continue our quest for the cup. From the first puck drop to the final horn, there's nonstop excitement at every Carolina Hurricanes game. Secure your tickets now at hurricanes.com/tickets. Let's go, Canes.
Our favorite reason to choose Diamonds Direct over any other jeweler? Free service for life with no fine print. That's right. When you buy your engagement ring or any piece of jewelry at Diamonds Direct, you will never have to pay a dime in the future for sizing, cleaning, or routine maintenance. Even if she accidentally knocks out a side accent diamond, Diamonds Direct will replace it free. Now, other stores claim to offer warranties, but the catch is that they won't honor it unless you bring your ring in for regular inspections. But at Diamonds Direct, inspections are never required. There's no gotcha clause, no fine print, no looking for ways to void the warranty. Plain and simple, at Diamonds Direct, we stand behind what we sell, and we're committed to service it at no charge for life, period. Diamonds Direct, the jeweler you can trust with a no questions asked 100% free lifetime warranty with no strings attached. Come see us to learn more. Official jeweler of the Carolina Hurricanes and proud sponsor of NC State Athletics, and proud to call the Triangle home. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion.
The Emirates NBA Cup is here. You can win big getting in on the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. All 30 teams split into 6 groups every Tuesday and Friday, playing for the right to advance in the single elimination in-season tourney, culminating in the NBA Cup Championship in Vegas. First time? Here's something special just for you. New DraftKings customers, bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Score big with DraftKings Sportsbook. Every point counts. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code TIMD, that's code TIMD with no spaces, for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 877-185-543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. 21 plus, North Carolina only. Eligibility restrictions apply. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/bball.
The holidays mean more travel, more shopping, more time online, and more personal info in more places that could expose you more to identity theft. But LifeLock monitors millions of data points per second. If your identity is stolen, our US-based restoration specialists will fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Don't face drained accounts, fraudulent loans, or financial losses alone. Get more holiday fun and less holiday worry with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS. Visit LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy 2. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. I'm glad it's not just me, because every time Graham, by the way, Graham Hill producing the show today, Dennis Cox, the day off, every time Graham's on the show, I end up talking about the music, the rejoins, because I think his selections are fascinating. I did see that you produced the Adam Gold Show the other day, and Twitter was lighting up with people talking about your song selections. So I'm just glad it's not me. I'm not making something out of nothing. Others also notice.
Band on the Run, Paul McCartney. Paul McCartney and the Wings gets the people going.
That's what that's what the people were saying. So if you hear a song you like, feel free to reach out to Graham and say thank you, because he's the one choosing, just like the producers always choose. Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Last night, NC State men's basketball took the floor, hosted Coastal Carolina, the Chanticleers, won 82-70. Jaden Taylor scored 22. There was a little bit of it's closer than you'd like feel to that game, but a win is a win. They're 3-0. They're building off of last year. The confidence is high. The NC State Wolfpack or basketball, Kevin Keatts, woo! I watched the game. There is something glaring about this team, and it was bubbling through their first 2 games, and then last night through kind of impact or things that impacted the game that are slightly out of their control, it jumped all the way to the front. Michael O'Connell's foul trouble early exposed something, right? First half in that game, it was 35-33. It was close. It looked like 2 teams that were equal between Coastal and NC State, which is not what they are. NC State's a much more talented team. But Michael O'Connell picked up 2 quick fouls, headed to the bench for most of the first half, and it became a slow, laboring, difficult, looked like they were wearing ankle weights half for NC State. Now, because they're playing Coastal, they still had the lead, but it was close. It was 35-33 at half. Then Michael O'Connell comes out, and he starts the second half, and what happens? They go on a 10-0 run right away, put Coastal at arm's distance, keep them there for the rest of the game, and it just had a different vibe. It looked then like it should have, which is one team was significantly better than the other. Now, part of this is just a compliment to O'Connell, right? Part of this is just halfway through last year, they figured out that O'Connell should not be coming off the bench. He should be the one kind of piloting the offense, and it changed a lot for him. So part of it is just O'Connell on the court, good. But the struggle is also a hidden benefit. Kevin Keatts, the head coach of NC State, just had the check engine light come on. Now, there's 2 things you can do when the check engine light comes on. Right, yeah, and by the way, I'm just the check engine light. I'm not talking. You don't hear like a kunk. You're not the car doesn't jerk to a stop. Like, just the check engine light comes on, but everything else seems okay.
The engine's not overheating
The
like it
engine-
was
there's
at the end of last season.
Yeah, there's no smoke coming out of the hood. Just the check engine light came on. Right? You could, because you won, because you're 3-0, because you don't play. If you look at NC State's schedule, we were talking about this off air.
You haven't played Kansas yet.
You play Colgate next. You play William and Mary after that. You have essentially 2 weeks till you play Purdue. You could just kind of go, we're good.
That's the tune-up game.
We're good. Right? We're hanging out. You could keep driving the car because it's not making any funny noises. You don't smell anything burning. You're just going to keep driving because it seems okay. You can ignore it. A lot of people do it. But you know what's probably the best thing to do, right? Take it into the shop right now. Get it fixed. Because if you don't, it could come back to bite you in a big way. Might not. Might just be your indicator light is broken. Might be something very foolish. You're out of windshield wiper fluid. Might be nothing. But it might be something.
But I think right now for NC State, and obviously nobody's going to replace DJ Horn, like go out there and get me a bucket, but they need a go-to guy right now in the mix of all these transfers that they brought in.
I agree with you. Jaden Taylor had a good day yesterday, so I want to be clear on that. Matter of fact, let's play the clip. Kevin Keats was asked, does the team need Jaden Taylor to lead the charge?
No, I don't. I think we're going to have a group that on any given night that you might have Marcus Hill with 18, you might have Brandon with 18, you might have someone else, but I think JT played well tonight and the other night, but I don't think this group needs him to have the DJ Horn role. I think we got a lot of guys that are all going to be anywhere from 12 to 15 points a game, just depending on the night and the opponent.
That's an interesting way to think about it, and it brings me back to my original point about O'Connell. The offense was better when he was out there. He scored 5 points. He took 3 shots. Right? He's not the guy, but he's unlocking things. The challenge now for Kevin Keats, or the mechanic, if you will, in our little check engine light scenario, is what happens if O'Connell can't be there as a calming presence, as a leader initiating the offense, getting everyone else to be more efficient? What do you do if you're in a big game and he picks up 2 quick fouls? What do you do if you're in the ACC tournament and he sprains his thumb? What do you do if there's something that takes him out of the game? Who can step into that role? Does Jaden Taylor, when Michael O'Connell is on the bench, go from I need to hunt for buckets, I'm going to take 15 shots like he did last night, to, all right, now I have to get everybody else involved. Let me put on my pass first point guard hat. Like, what is it? Can you trust a youngster? Is it more minutes for somebody like Breon Pass, who seems to be a bit of a gunner, but he's at least a veteran out there on the perimeter?
Or Trey Parker, who was had a surprise, not surprisingly, but starting to hit his stride a little bit.
Very good day for the freshman. But also his very good day was like 20 minutes on the court, 13 points. If Michael O'Connell goes down, can you look at him and say, hey, listen, it's not important for you to get the 13 points right now. I need you to get the offense started because that's what O'Connell does. Now, the next step to that, it's the same thing for the other returnees, right? I've talked about these 3 Musketeers a lot. O'Connell, Taylor, Middlebrooks. They are guys that were main kind of characters, right? At least the core group of characters for the run last year. If Michael O'Connell misses time, we saw last night, they're going to have to figure out a way to deal with that. What if Jaden Taylor misses time? What's the plan there? What if Middlebrooks gets in foul trouble? What's the plan there? You need to have those ideas. Right now, it's not a big deal because you haven't really been tested by your non-conference schedule as of yet. By the time you hit that Purdue game 14 days from now, you better have a plan because it goes Purdue, followed up by Texas, followed up by your ACC schedule. Florida State there. There's Kansas, number 1 in the country. 2 games after that. It is real the moment that Purdue game starts. So don't wait till then to go, oh, yeah, we've been driving around with this check engine light. We probably should have got that looked at back when we had time.
And you have the expectation of the fan base to get back to where you were last season. I know it's way too early to be talking about that, but, I mean, Kevin Keats or Jaden Taylor during the offseason at Media Day said, pressure is a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
It means that there's pride in the program. And so you want to give the fan base some comfortability knowing that in a time of need, you're going to have a guy like a Casey Morsell that's going to come up with a clutch shot, Michael O'Connell against Virginia, or somebody that put the ball in their hands top of the key. They're going to finish at the basket.
I think they're looking towards Jaden Taylor to be that. I think, even though Coach didn't say that. But, of course, what is he going to say? Like, yeah, he's going to be our leading scorer. Like, you don't want to set those expectations. I think they're looking towards him to do that. It's maybe every other role that still needs to be defined. O'Connell's the quarterback. Jaden Taylor's the high scorer. Call him the diva wide receiver, right? The give me the ball. Every other role outside of that, I think, is still in development.
I don't know if they're looking for Ben Middlebrooks to be their three-point shooter.
Probably not. But, hey, if you're going to make them, let it fly, big fella. Mo Diarra at one point in time, middle of last year, just said, hey, guys, I can shoot threes. And I was like, what?
DJ Burns.
Who's, what, when, where? You tell me you can do that the whole time? If anyone on NC State is hiding a three-point shot, reveal it as early as you can. Don't go like a Rocky, right, where you switch to southpaw halfway through. Like, no. Get it out there so everybody can play with it, meaning get it out into the public lexicon so everyone on your team knows to get you the ball when you need to knock down a three. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we move on, Tim Donnelly here for Miller Lending. And, of course, that means Gordon Miller as well. The average length, this is when it comes to mortgage loans and you're looking at interest rates and everything else, the average length of a loan is less than 4 years. I'm going to let that settle in a little bit. And it's been that way for decades, by the way. This isn't a new phenomena. The average length of a loan is 4 years. So within 4 years, on average, or at 4 years on average, you're refinancing, you're moving, you're upsizing, downsizing, you're paying it off. There's something going on that you get a new mortgage or you get rid of your mortgage. The average length of a loan is 4 years. So maybe you shouldn't go with the traditional thinking of, or at least be open to not going with the traditional thinking of, this is how much I'm going to pay over a 30-year mortgage. This is what my monthly payment's going to be for the next 30 years if you're getting a 30-year mortgage, because chances are it won't last that long. So when you're buying down rates, when you're paying for points to get that rate lowered, you better do some math on, will I even see this money? Will I break even within the time that I'm going to have the loan? Because once you do all that math, I think it may surprise you. And if you're not good at the math, don't worry. I'm not either. If you listen to the show, you know my on-air math gets me in trouble a whole bunch. But Miller Lending can walk you through it. Gordon Miller and his staff, they'll walk you through it. They'll bring out the numbers. They'll show you what the best situation for your mortgage loan will be. The number to call is 919-447-3377. 919-447-3377. Check out their no closing cost loans. You can also visit them at online at millerlending.com. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender, and MLS number 250-2146. We'll take a break. When we come back, thesis statement involving state champions that I think is actually a positive for conference realignment. Everyone in college sports hates conference realignment. I make an argument in favor of it. Next.
Caesars Sportsbook is the only sportsbook app with Caesars rewards. Win or lose, every bet you place brings you closer to perks only Caesars can offer. Hotel stays, bonus bets, game tickets, and more. Download the app using the promo code Radio1000 and you'll place your first bet today. If you win, great. If not, you'll get it back as a bonus bet up to $1,000. Must be 21 plus and physically present in North Carolina. New users only must register using eligible promo code. First bet after registration must qualify. Max bonus bet $1,000. Bonus bet expires 14 days after receipt. Void where prohibited. See Caesars.com/promos for full items. Tribal Casino Gaming Enterprise is a licensed operator by the North Carolina State Lottery Commission. Know when to stop before you start. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer? Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. And now, during our Black Friday sale, save 50% on the Sleep Number limited edition smart bed, plus special financing. Limited time. To find a store near you, visit sleepnumber.com.
Hello, I'm John Heister for the Heister Automotive Group. And you know, we're constantly looking for ways to serve you better. One of the ways we do that is with something we call a Go-See. And that's where you select a vehicle from our inventory, and we have thousands, and we get one of our product specialists to bring that vehicle to you at your convenience. How do we do that? Well, it's simple. We have a group of employees that are evaluated based on the number of presentations they do. They're glad to do it. So it's just one more way we get off our keister and bring Heister to you.
See if you're a winner every night.
Watch live lottery drawings on WRAL TV's 11 o'clock news. That's right, Carolina Pick 3, Carolina Pick 4, and Carolina Cash 5 numbers every night on WRAL TV's 11 o'clock news. See if you're a winner before you go off to bed. Get your lottery numbers live every night.
North Carolina Education Lottery.
Only on WRAL TV's 11 o'clock news.
Everyone deserves a fast and reliable connection, one that helps better their everyday through the things they value most: friends and family, education and career. A connection that opens pathways to opportunity and builds roads to a better future. At Spectrum, we're committed to delivering just that every single day. Because with the right connection, anything is possible. That's Life Unlimited. That's Spectrum.
Martha was ready to switch to a career in IT.
There's always a need for IT specialists, especially with AI coming out and cybersecurity. It's practically recession-proof.
She heard an ad for My Computer Career and jumped in feet first.
Taking exams and getting certified in a matter of just months.
Even better, you can work from anywhere.
Wherever you are. If you're on vacation, you can still clock in. I work out of my house in my pajamas.
My Computer Career even provides job placement help.
The career specialists, they're very helpful. They care about you as a person. You're not just a number to them.
Launch a new high-demand career in IT or level up with more certifications. Build a career in record time with less money.
I would recommend My Computer Career wholeheartedly to anyone. Indeed, it was the right move for me.
Take the free career evaluation today. Become an IT pro in just months with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
Are you a young professional in the Triangle looking to expand your network, grow your career, and take your leadership ability to the next level? If so, the Raleigh Chambers Young Professionals Network is for you. The network is specifically designed to help young professionals connect with others, gain valuable insights, and participate in unique social events and experiences. If you are a Triangle professional between the ages of 23 and 39, learn more about the Raleigh Chambers Young Professionals Network and join today at RaleighYPN.org.
If fashion is your thing, eBay is it. eBay's where I find all my favorites, from handbags to iconic streetwear, all authenticated. For real. This time, a little Supreme, some Gucci. I even have that vintage Prada on my watch list. That's why eBay's my go-to for all my go-tos. Yeah, eBay, the place for new, pre-loved, vintage, and rare fashion. eBay. Things people love.
Hey, what do you say? John Forsland here from my friends at Buffalo Brothers. I live and work on both coasts, travel the country, and there's nothing better than Buffalo Brothers. The best wings on the planet and half-price appetizers, Monday through Friday, 4:30 to 6. Visit all 5 Triangle locations and ask for their great daily beer specials. And how about this special? Every Sunday, they have $6 Bloody Marys and $6.50 Jamesons. Dine in, carry out. BuffBrothers.com. Aw, man, now I want wings.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Follow us on YouTube, by the way. Subscribe on YouTube might be the better way to say that. 99.9 The Fan. Building a community there. It's getting more and more expansive by the day, and we want to continue to invite more and more of you to join that community. So 99.9 The Fan on YouTube. While you're there, subscribe, watch some videos, like some videos, comment on some videos, share some videos with your friends. Be awesome if you did. Right now, we needed a space. A couple weeks ago, we decided we needed a space reserved for talking college sports because we live in one of the meccas of college sports across the entire world. So we introduced the thesis statement.
Let's see if I know where the school bell was. That's
Nope.
not it. We're just going to go with this one instead.
That'll work. It's close enough. Thesis statement inspired by, the papers you had to write in college. I'm going to make a thesis statement, and then I'm going to defend that thesis statement as if my passing grade depended on it. Here's where we're going to start for today. Conference realignment is not as bad as everyone says it is for local rivalries. One of the things that there's a thesis statement. Now let's get into the defense portion of it. Conference realignment gets people really upset, right? Washington no longer has to play Washington State because they're in different conferences and all this. Here's what I actually think happens. I think when everything is at risk, right? Because conference realignment is risking or threatening to take away so much of what fan bases like about individual schools' histories. When everything is at risk, what do you cling to? Whatever you decide to save, you might even boost. Here's what I mean. I was reading an article on ESPN, and it had all the college football insiders, and they asked them questions, right? Who's the best player in each conference? Who was the best coaching hire this past year? And then at the end, they said, like, empty your notebooks. What else are you hearing? What else is interesting? And the article had some quotes and some observations from Manny Diaz, the head coach of Duke football, who's having a very good year in his first year as the Duke head coach. This is what the article read. After a tough 2-week stretch against SMU in Miami, when Duke held leads in both games but ultimately lost, the Blue Devils beat NC State in a road game in which they never trailed. Duke has beaten NC State and North Carolina in the same season for the first time since 2013 and only the second time since 1990. Diaz's team can complete the in-state sweep when it wraps up the regular season November 30th at Wake Forest. So literally, this is how it goes. I'm gonna paint the whole picture for you. I read that and I go, that can't be right. 1990. I was born in 1991. There's no way this is the first time or second time in my lifetime that a triangle team, meaning Duke, beat the two other triangle teams. So I went and looked it up, and guess what I noticed? Divisions were ruining this. Divisions in the ACC were ruining this. Duke and NC State didn't play each other for 7 years from 2013 to 2020.
It was all about coastal chaos. That Duke-Miami game in, 2013 on Halloween night. Miami was just doing the reversals to win.
Coastal chaos. Yeah, that's exactly what it was. Coastal chaos is always crazy. But now I go back and I read that article, and it says Duke has beaten NC State and North Carolina in the same season for the first time since 2013. And I'm going, well, they didn't even have a chance for this 7 years after 2013. That's insane. So that kind of explained it. And then my antennas were up, right? Then I'm going like, all right, this article being a little hint of fraudulent with these statistics. Manny Diaz was then quoted. This is what Manny Diaz said as I continue reading the article. With the scrapping of the divisions in the league, one thing we will do is we will play the 3 in-state schools every year. So in a way, that is our division. The pathway for us to compete for an ACC championship is first to win a state championship. The other thing is just winning away from home. Of all the good things that Duke has done, this is no longer the quote, but it's from the article. Of all the good things that Duke has done over the last few years, winning away was really not one of them. To be able to close the way we did in the fourth quarter Saturday will give us a lot of confidence going forward. Duke, State, UNC, Wake Forest playing each other every year because of conference realignment is great. And do you know why it's happening? Do you know why that's the case? Do you know why they now have this makeshift division of the in-state schools that are going to play each other? It's because that's what everyone protected. You hear, it's a great dinner party conversation. Your house is on fire. Your family, your pets, everything living gets out of the house. You have time to grab one or two things. What are you grabbing? Right? Some people it's a computer. Some it's photographs. Some it's I would grab this family heirloom. Whatever it is. The ACC was threatened. More teams came in. The divisions didn't make sense. You were hurting yourself for making college football playoff maximum entries every year by having these divisions because the Big Ten expanded and the SEC expanded and conference realignment was threatening everything. Their house was on fire and they said, what do you want to grab? And what everybody said was regional rivalries. So now it's actually going to be NC State and Duke are playing each other every year. That didn't happen before. That is dumb that it wasn't happening before to protect some weird divisional thing. Like, they should play every year, and now they're going to. So now Duke beats NC State for the first time and UNC for the first time in however many years. And now NC State next year gets to get their lick back if they can show up and play better. And Duke gets to try to establish dominance. And that rivalry across the triangle matters more. Do you lose out on some of the other ACC stuff? Yeah. I mean, you have to play Stanford every once in a while. You have to play Cal. That's going to feel weird. It's not going to feel the same. But we get a state champion. Just build a trophy of it.
The Raleigh-Durham International Airport Trophy. Can we implement that?
Why not? Right, because Duke they'll play Wake to end the year. They have to win that to sweep the in-state championship, and I love that too. Get Wake involved,
or
if possible.
Yeah, the I-40 trophy.
It's conference realignment is shaking things up, but I want to emphasize that anytime something shakes up, there's an opportunity to improve. Right? It's When things are shaken up, it doesn't mean you're only a loser. It might mean like, oh, I'm going to use this opportunity to slide this thing I've been trying to get done for a long time in there. And by the way, like if when Oregon, when their house is on fire, when the Pac-12 is falling apart, if what they want to grab is their rivalry with Oregon State, if that's what's most important to them, they'll play it as a non-conference game forever. Right? Clemson and South Carolina are not in the same conference. They play each other every single year. Georgia and Georgia Tech, every single year. Those games are what their fan bases see as valuable, what their administration see as valuable. That's why they happen. Conference realignment doesn't mean anything has to go away. It means some things can go away unless you fight for them.
Because, see, way back when, before this so-called thing called the college football playoffs came into the picture, that's what mattered most to college football fans. The spectacle of going over, if you're a State fan, going over to Kenan Stadium and watching State beat Carolina over there, or Carolina coming over to Carter Finley, vice versa. That is what meant more than just making it to a college football playoff game.
Yes. And by the way, there's 0% chance you do away with anything like college football playoff related. I'm not saying any of this is like, oh, now they're going to replace. No. Like, winning a national championship, winning a conference championship, they matter. But there's also going to be the local state championships, which I think is cool. Thesis statement over. I rest my case. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Speaking of Wake Forest.
We'll find the bell tomorrow.
Well, and ding, 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 ding. We can do it that way. I ain't hear no bell. Or even, you know what you should have went with? This is the try-hard teacher move. The bell doesn't dismiss you. I dismiss you.
There you go.
Ever get that one? Bell goes off. Everybody's in the hallway moving to their next class. You're zipping up your backpack, teacher. What are you doing zipping up your backpack? The bell does not dismiss you. I dismiss you. It's like, well, actually, that's not how this works. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Speaking of Wake Forest almost lost to South Carolina Upstate last night, men's basketball. The Wake Forest of last year is popping up again. Of the teams we cover, meaning that we'll just use the ACC for state of North Carolina teams again. Of those four teams, of the early season, Wake Forest has the best win. Right, Duke played Kentucky, they lost. UNC played Kansas, they lost. NC State hasn't really played anybody of note. Wake Forest beat Michigan. That's at least a middle-of-the-pack Big Ten team. That's the best win of any team of the four that I just mentioned. But the very next game for Wake Forest was South Carolina Upstate. With 4 minutes left in the game. We're talking second half. They already played 16 minutes of the second half. With 4 minutes left in the game, they were losing to South Carolina Upstate. South Carolina Upstate. I don't even know what to like. SCU. Can we just roll with that?
USC.
USCU.
USCU. Yeah.
USCU lost to NC State by 30 this season already. USCU lost to Virginia Tech by 20 this season already. They lost to Wake Forest by 5 and were leading with 4 minutes to go. That's not a good day for Wake Forest. They pulled out the win. They avoided catastrophe. They're not going to be laughed at on a national level. But it's the same thing as it's consistency. Last year, I wish we could just go back and find something from like the middle of December talking about Wake Forest or the middle of January talking about Wake Forest basketball and just hit play on it, because I'm going to sound like a broken record. The consistency, or I should say the lack of consistency, is back. Last time, I want to say probably right before the college basketball season started, maybe even the Monday everyone opened up their schedule, I ranted about Wake Forest's inconsistency, lack of consistency last year. We did ACC cons and cons, which we're going to do later on in the show, and my biggest concern for Wake Forest was their lack of consistency. And it was because last year they were wildly inconsistent. They'd beat Duke one game and they'd look awful against a bottom feeder ACC team the next. And I'd watch them one game and I would say, oh, this team's going to be I'm going to pick them to make it to the Elite Eight. That's going to be my bracket upset. They're going to squeak in, but if they play like that, they could beat anybody. Then the next game I'd watch them and I'd go, they're going to lose in the CBI first round. Like, it was that dramatic. So coming into this year, I was worried about it. Why? Because outside of Andrew Carr leaving, who transferred to Kentucky, the core was back. Same coach, Steve Forbes. Same point guard, Cam Hildreth. Same leading scorer, Hunter Salas. Same big guy, Efton Reed. Same shooter, Friedrichsen. I'm going like, if those guys were a part of the lack of consistency last year, what's stopping it from happening again? And do you know what's the funniest part about it? I did that rant right on the eve of college basketball season, and I had multiple. I'm saying multiple. I had 2 Wake Forest fans reach out to me on social media, one on Twitter, I think one was in maybe an Instagram DM, and said, one accused me of being a low-key, maybe hiding Wake Forest fan. So,
interesting.
Because they said, you sound just like us. Because I was ranting and raving about their inconsistency, and apparently in Wake Forest fan circles, they're doing the same. So they went, you must be a fan and not telling anybody, which isn't true, but there it is, because you sound like us. And then another one said, basically, I'm glad somebody finally noticed, because I guess their opinion was, the national media, you can tell which games they watched based on how good or bad they think Wake Forest is. Like, if you watched 2 games and they were good Wake Forest games, then when they get their national TV broadcast at halftime, they're like, this team is one of the best in the country, and I love what they're doing. But if you watch 2 games and it was bad Wake Forest, then when they get their national television games at halftime in the studio, they're going, this team has really struggled this year, when in actuality, it's Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. They're both. So the one fan basically reached out and said, I'm glad you're saying both sides, because so many people only look at one. And this was all before the last 2 games happened for Wake Forest. Wake Forest beat Michigan. They got down 10-0. They stormed back. They worked hard. They were determined. They played physical basketball more so than even a Big Ten school like Michigan. They won the game, and I went, that's a good win for Wake. That's a really good win. Have a couple days off, get a little breather, come back for USCU, University of South Carolina Upstate, and you're down with 4 minutes to play, and I'm going, how is this the same team that bullied Michigan? How is this the same team that fought back against that? Again, I'm not saying Michigan is, the best team in the Big Ten, but they're not the worst. They're 6th, 7th, 8th, somewhere in that range. USCU would not be 6th, 7th, or 8th in the Big Ten, to put it lightly. The Wake Forest of last year is popping up again, and the hardest part about this is, and it was at home, by the way. The USCU game was at home. Last year, another thing that happened a lot, so this maybe they fixed, is they I don't know if fixed is the right way to put that. But last year they were much better at home than on the road.
Yeah.
I think they had like 17-3 at home and darn near the reverse of that on the road. They didn't play well at home against USCU. So fixed might not be the right word, but at least, the whatever you want to call it is not adding up that way. That's different, not fixed, because playing bad at home to prove that you don't only play good at home is not the right way to do it. Play better on the road to prove that's the case. So basically, I say all of that to say this. Wake Forest is really talented. And because they show it to us like 2 out of every 3 games, we know it's in there. Talking about sounding like a fan, wildly frustrating, I am sure, for Wake Forest fans to just go like, why don't you do that? I had actually, have you ever seen, and there's a bunch of players like this, but the best example from like pop culture is the guy with the goggles in dodgeball.
Yeah.
Who just needs to get angry out there. And like if whatever it is that triggers them, suddenly they become like the best player on the court. And you're going like, why can't you do that all the time? Why do you have to wait till somebody talks trash to you in order to start dunking on people? Like just play great from the beginning. It's why does the water boy have to wait till someone tells him Gatorade is better to start taking people's heads off? Just take people's heads off from the beginning.
Yeah, don't wait till under 6 minutes remaining in the game to finally start hitting your stride and putting together some runs.
Wake Forest, I'm going like, I watched you play great basketball last year. Why don't you do that all the time? And it's not like you had one magical game, right? Because that happens, right? If you upset Duke and you lost every other game, I wouldn't be sitting here going like, how frustrating is it? But when you upset Duke and you play that well 20 times a year, but then you have 15 clunkers, gosh, that's frustrating. And I was hoping this year would be different. And through however many games they've played, I don't know how many it is, but at least the last 2, I think there are 3, maybe 4 games. It looks like nothing's changed. The only thing consistent, yes, they are 4 games. They are 4-0. Beat Coppin State. Beat North Carolina A&T. Not going to learn much there. Beat Michigan. Thought we learned something there. Beat South Carolina Upstate. Right back to where we started. Right back, like coming up in, I just brought up their schedule. Coming up in 2 weeks, on the 28th, a Thursday, they play number 20 in the country, Florida. The next game is 5 days later. They play number 23, Texas A&M. I don't know if you can find this bet. I would be willing to bet they win one and lose one. They're going to win one, and I'm going to go, this team's going to be an ACC contender, and they're going to lose one, and I'm going to go, this team is not going to make the tourney. It's just how it is. They can beat anyone, but they just don't do it consistently enough. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We were going to talk ECU Tulsa there. We'll have to come back to it. They're playing football tonight. You can hear it right here on The Fan. 6:30 pregame, 7:30 kick for some Thursday night college football, ECU Tulsa. When we come back, speaking of football at 4, I give a cold glass of reality to Panthers fans. If you're sipping the Kool-Aid for the Panthers, you definitely want to hear this. Stick around.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
I don't think we're being fair to the Eagles. Other teams around the league have lost games that they're not supposed to lose. I have a tough time not giving a team credit that was dealing with all of the Sirianni turmoil. The fact that even a week ago we thought, could he be gone if they lost the Jaguars? I'm just going to give them a little bit more credit than you guys are.
Mornings from 6 to 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Hey friends, it's your guy, Paul Eihander from 99.9 The Fan for FanDuel. Get ready to tackle the NFL action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers can get $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. It's Thursday night football action, Washington and Philadelphia in a major showdown. Think Jaden Daniels, 250-plus passing yards, Saquon Barkley, 75 yards plus rushing, and an A.J. Brown anytime score. Just visit FanDuel.com/Paul, PAUL, and make every moment more this season. FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. 21 plus and present in North Carolina. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
The Black Friday sales event is happening right now at John Heister Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Lillington, and the savings are huge. Get $13,000 off any new 2025 Ram 1500 Bighorn, or take advantage of 0% for 72 months on a 2024 Jeep Grand Cherokee 4xe, Chrysler Pacifica 4xe, Dodge Hornet RT, or a 2024 Jeep Wrangler 4xe. Awesome choices and savings, so get off your keister and get to John Heister Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Lillington.
Homeowners, listen up. Did you know that 9 out of 10 borrowers get a better deal by calling Loan Pronto? Hey, it's Dennis Cox for Loan Pronto. The Fed has dropped rates again. The election is over, and Loan Pronto has APRs in the low 5s for refis, debt consolidation, and purchase loans. If your current mortgage rate is over 6% or you are in process with another lender, don't settle. Call Loan Pronto now for a second opinion. Lock in a lower rate today and close in as little as 2 weeks, often with no appraisal. And if you act now, you won't make your first payment till February. This 5-minute call saves homeowners an average of $5,000. Lower rates and lower fees. Get your Loan Pronto rate quote instantly with no hard credit pull and no upfront fees like those other guys. Loan Pronto, call 919-381-1760 or loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, on approved credit, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
You've seen the postings all over that neighborhood app. People's packages are going missing from their porches this holiday season, but not yours because you have a home security system from SoundStation and Security. From doorbell cameras to whole home security systems, SoundStation and Security has the largest inventory on the East Coast. And if you're looking for a gift this holiday season but don't really know what to get, we sell gift certificates too. SoundStation and Security with 2 locations in downtown Smithfield and on Glenwood Avenue in Raleigh. Online at myhotsound.com.
Morning people wake up for peace and quiet. McDonald's breakfast people, we wake up for the sweet rush of getting that warm, delicious breakfast right before it ends.
Enjoy a savory sausage McMuffin with a fluffy egg for only $2.50. Be a McDonald's breakfast person. Get the most important deal of the day right after you wake up. Price and participation may vary, cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
It's Tim Donnelly for Window Nation. Right now, save 50% off all window styles, plus 0 interest for 5 years. Hurry, sale ends November 30th, so schedule an in-home estimate at 866-90NATION or visit windownation.com. That's windownation.com.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com.
WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on radio, web, app, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. Steady, chilly rain will be with us for the rest of the day. We'll see a high of 54, looking at around an inch of rain, which shouldn't be enough to cause any flooding, but there could be a few rumbles of thunder this evening. Overnight, we dip down to 47 degrees. A few lingering showers early tomorrow morning, but turning partly cloudy with a high near 60.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 4 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones down 270 points at 43,750. Market update brought to you by the Good Feet Store. Ready to step into a healthy and active lifestyle? Come to the Good Feet Store and experience the difference. Discover how a simple step can lead to a life of pain-free possibilities.
Let's move the chains. Time for Football at 4.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is time for Football at 4, and I'm just going to be up front about it. Some of y'all need to be woken up real quick, because you're dreaming. The Panthers are living large on their bye. But do not get it twisted. This is not a good football team. And I think it's important to say that just to protect yourself against a little bit of a letdown. Because everywhere I turn, and I'm sure many of you are in the same online communities as I am, right? You follow the same people, right? The NFL reporters, we're all in this together. Everywhere I turn, there's some other little it's like a cool thing right now to point out that the Panthers aren't as bad as you think. Right? Just as cool as it is to point out that the Cowboys stink, it's cool to point out, like, hey, that team, everybody counted out. The Panthers got something going. A.Q. Shipley, former NFL center, was on with Pat McAfee, and he ranked the Panthers as the best offensive line in the entire league for Week 10. He said they played the best offensive line in Week 10. When is the last time you remember the Panthers being number one in a positive light for anything?
Probably their Super Bowl season back in 2016. If I had to guess.
I don't know how far back I was expecting to go, but that's a while. NFL on Fox raised the Panthers from, they've been at the bottom, near the bottom the entire season, all the way up to 23rd in the league in their power rankings. 23rd out of 32. That's lower middle class. The 33rd team, I saw they're touting the rookie pass catchers because right now in the NFL, in the top 10 rookies in receiving yards, the Panthers have 3 of them. 3 guys in the top 10. Now they're number 8, 9, and 10, but 3 guys in the top 10 as far as rookie receiving yards. All this is good. It is good to celebrate, but please do not fall for it again and make me have to come around and be the Grim Reaper. Beginning of the year, coming into the season, this team has improved a ton. The offensive line is better. They spent $153 million in contracts on 2 guards. Deontay Johnson, the trade. Dave Canales, the play caller. Everything's in line. Dan Morgan is running the show. This year is going to be great. Then the wheels fell off, and quick too.
The alignment, the dogs. What happened?
The alignment, the dogs. The wheels fell off quick. 2 games in. Quarterback benched. Oh, no, it's all bad. Da-da-da-da.
A combined total of 9 points through the first 2 weeks.
It was the most points allowed through 2 games in franchise history and the fewest points scored through 2 games in franchise history. Wheels fell off quick. Then Andy Dalton took over, and we fell for it again. All this team needed was a veteran quarterback. Bryce Young was holding him back. He doesn't have the arm strength. He can't do this. He can't do that. Dave Canales and him never vibed. Look at what Andy Dalton can do. Then the wheels fell off. Then Deontay Johnson got hurt, and Adam Thielen was already hurt. And suddenly Andy Dalton was throwing pick sixes, and Andy Dalton wasn't looking like the savior anymore. And oh no, what's going on here? And oh no, the wheels are falling. And the wheels fell off. Fast forward to now. 2 wins in a row. Bryce Young's swag is back. The running game is dominant. Chuba Hubbard just got paid. Dave Canales is figuring it out. The culture. They got rid of Deontay Johnson. They got rid of Jonathan Mingo. Addition by subtraction. How long until the wheels fall off?
Bryce Young leads them to a game-winning drive.
Game-winning drive, and then the defense sets them up for an overtime win. How long until the wheels fall off? Don't set yourself up for a letdown again. I'm going back to one of the things I said preseason because we were doing like the over-unders on win totals. I said the over-under at 5. And I said, I think there's a good chance they get 5 wins. 6, celebrate. And I did that intentionally, and I had this same speech to say, if you let your imagination run away with you and you start talking about 9, 10 wins, you start talking about why couldn't we compete for the division, you're just setting yourself up for disappointment and sadness because your expectations are too high. You won 2 games last year. This is not an exaggeration. This is, I don't even believe, a debatable fact. You were the worst team in the NFL last season. You got the number 1 overall pick and you didn't even benefit from it. So you weren't even hinting at a tank, right? Why would you tank for someone else's pick? You were, against your will, the worst team in the NFL last season. Coming into this year, I said, if you get to six wins and you triple your win total from last year, be ecstatic. If you get to 5, that's a good season. Heck, even 4 doubles your win total. 4 wins on the season is a good result from here. You play the Kansas City Chiefs this week. The Kansas City Chiefs, and you might say their offense isn't looking, they're undefeated. And you know why? It's not because they're bad. It's because their defense is otherworldly. I don't believe they've given up 28 or 30 points in 28 straight games. They have this guy named Patrick Mahomes. If the defense keeps you bottled up, he'll find a way. That's after a bye. So enjoy the bye, celebrate the little victories, but be realistic coming out on the other side. Tampa Bay is not a world beater. They will be favored, and probably heavily, over the Carolina Panthers. You play them twice. I think you might get them once. I think you might win one and lose one against Tampa. I think you might have a chance against Dallas, especially if they're playing Cooper Rush or Trey Lance, which chances are they'll be playing one of them. Dak Prescott's not playing. Other than that, it's uphill. Kansas, good. Philly might not be as good as they were when they went to the Super Bowl. They're a good top-to-bottom roster. Arizona's playing well. Atlanta has a juggernaut of an offense. This is a cold glass of water to the face, which is the reason why Victory Monday, the past 2 Mondays, has been so fun, is because it's also been unexpected. Right? When the underdog wins, it should feel good. It becomes an issue when an underdog starts thinking they're the Goliath. The Panthers are surprising. Everybody likes – actually, you know what? That's probably the best test. The fact that so many in the national media, so many analysts and the Pat McAfee show find joy in saying the Panthers aren't that bad, it's because they're bad. Nobody ever has a good time complimenting the juggernaut, right? Nobody ever has fun complimenting a dynasty. No one's ever like, you know who was actually pretty good this year? Everybody get ready to cheer. You know who was pretty good this past week? The Kansas City Chiefs, 2-time defending Super Bowl champions, led by one of the greatest quarterbacks and greatest coaches of all time. Huh? No, but you know who actually is pretty good? Some group of 5 team that's Boise State. Everybody loves rooting for Boise State in football now. Ashton Genty, he stands up straight. He's a good running back. Ha, ha, ha. They play on a blue field. Ha, ha, ha. If you're not a fan of Oregon or Ohio State or Georgia or Alabama, if you're not a fan of those, you don't have any fun complimenting them. You might say it. You might say, like, no, actually, Oregon's really good this year. Dan Lanning's a good coach, on and on and on. But you're not giddy over – you're not excited. Right now, the Panthers are Boise State. No, they're cool. They're good. They're actually – they're not that bad. They're not a normal bad team. But if you put Boise State in the same arena, in the same stadium as Oregon, nobody is picking them.
I'd say they're ECU. A couple of blowout losses. Although Dave Canales hasn't gotten fired. But, I mean, there was, like, questions about his coaching tenure with everything that David Tepper has done in the past with Frank Wright last season. Then all of a sudden they put together some wins. Just to wrap up this season in a nutshell, I have a good buddy of mine, diehard Carolina Panthers fan. He sent me a text message after the overtime win against the Giants in Germany. He said, 3 wins has never felt so good.
Agreed. And 3 wins, like a 3-7 team, feeling like they're 7-3.
Oh, jinx.
It shows what type of team it is. Like, I'm just going to bring up the NFL standings. This is going to be fun. You're going to hear me type for about 15 seconds. I'm just going to bring up the NFL standings, and here's how it's going to work. This is almost too perfect. Ready? The Panthers are 3-7. Feels like 7-3. You know who else has 3 wins? The Dallas Cowboys. You know who else has 3 wins? The Miami Dolphins. You know who else has 3 wins? The New York Jets. Guess what? Their rosters have a lot more talent than the Panthers. There's some glaring holes as well, don't get me wrong. But they have established players, big contract players, really good players who aren't injured. Because like Derek Brown, obviously, is that also, but he's injured. They don't look at 3 wins and celebrate. It's because they're a talented roster. The Panthers look at 3 wins and celebrate because they're not as talented of a roster. Wear that rose-colored glass as you watch the rest of the season. If they're close against the Chiefs, fire up a band. If they win 1 of 2 against Tampa, that's great. If they walk out of this season with 5 wins, I'm very excited. That means they won 2 of their last however many they have, 7, 8. Very excited for that. If they win 1 more, I'm comfortable. 4 wins, doubling your win total year over year, and having a high draft pick, that's good. I would love it even more if they're ahead by 14 in every fourth quarter and lose them all, because then you get the draft pick and you prove that you're good enough to hang with these teams. But that's a whole other can of worms that we don't have time to open right now. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. I'm looking out for you, really. I'm just trying to make sure you don't get sad when inevitably the wheels fall off, as they've done a few times this year already. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We have our ladder challenge picks to get to. Dennis isn't here, but I'm told he has sent in some picks, perhaps. I got a thumbs up. So the competition will continue even in his absence. Ladder challenge next.
We're kicking it this fall with college football. Join 99.9 The Fan all season long and catch your favorite teams in action. The ACC, the SEC, and every conference that matters. You'll find the best matchups here.
Jordan Moore delivers, and the Blue Devils have the lead!
College football on 99.9 The Fan is brought to you by Wilkinson Chevrolet Cadillac Buick GMC in Sanford and by Amedios.
Everyone deserves a fast and reliable connection, one that helps better their everyday through the things they value most: friends and family, education and career. A connection that opens pathways to opportunity and builds roads to a better future. At Spectrum, we're committed to delivering just that every single day. Because with the right connection, anything is possible. That's Life Unlimited. That's Spectrum.
If you needed one more reason to choose Diamonds Direct over any other jeweler, get this. Diamonds Direct maintains involvement in the entire diamond process and handpicks the best just for you. You see, any jeweler can claim to be a direct importer or have so-called partnerships overseas, but Diamonds Direct has special access that others simply don't have. Nobody can get closer to the source than Diamonds Direct. Indeed, Diamonds Direct is recognized in the industry as a world diamond powerhouse with unrivaled buying power and decades of inside connections that go back to their roots as actual diamond cutters. Bottom line, Diamonds Direct is without question the jeweler here that can truly offer the absolute best value. Make no mistake, Diamonds Direct refuses to be undersold on GIA certified diamonds. And we challenge you, let us prove it. Diamonds Direct, your source for the ultimate diamond value. Official jeweler of the Carolina Hurricanes and proud sponsor of NC State Athletics. And proud to call the Triangle home. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion.
You want your team to be number one? Well, come cheer them on at the number one sports bar at Apex, the Dugout Tavern and Grill, proud member of the official Canes Bar Network. Catch all the NFL and college football games too at the Dugout, with a 16-foot video wall and over 30 other big screen 4K TVs inside and out. Sound on, loud and proud. Best lunch spot too. Weekdays 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Get a burger cooked to temp with a side and beverage for just $10. The Dugout Tavern and Grill, 1413 Kelly Road in Apex, and the DugoutTavern.com.
The Emirates NBA Cup is here. You can win big getting in on the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. All 30 teams split into 6 groups every Tuesday and Friday, playing for the right to advance in the single elimination in-season tourney, culminating in the NBA Cup Championship in Vegas. First time? Here's something special just for you. New DraftKings customers, bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Score big with DraftKings Sportsbook. Every point counts. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code TIMD, that's code TIMD with no spaces, for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 877-185-543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. 21 plus, North Carolina only. Eligibility restrictions apply. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/bbowl.
Prescriptions require an online
online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, board-certified urologist and Senior Vice President of Men's Sexual Health at HIMSS. I've helped many guys with ED in my 12 years of practice. But now you can get world-class care for ED 100% online by going to hims.com. So what are you waiting for?
To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% off brand name prices, go to hims.com/joy.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-838-6161. That's 800-838-6161. 800-838-6161.
This is The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. It is time for the ladder challenge, our gambling game where Dennis and I compete to have the most money at the end of the month by picking a likely to win bet, a minus 500 to minus 1,000 bet, which inherently should be easy, right? You do one a day, you roll over the winnings every show until the end of the month. If you lose, you start back at $10. If you win, you keep rolling it over. At the end of the month, you get to keep your winnings, and whoever has the most is the winner. Now, Graham, you've communicated with Dennis. I never know the picks that he makes beforehand.
I have.
So go ahead and give us the rundown, whatever he's passed along to you, and then I'll take it from there.
Dennis and I have spoken on the phone. First things first, he says hello, Tim. And second, he wants you to know that he won last night with Jack Eckel of the Golden Knights getting 2+ shots on goal, so he's up $23.40. Tonight he is going with Nikita Kucherov of the Tampa Bay Lightning to have 2+ shots on goal. Did I say that wrong?
No, it's just he's predictable. He's looking for 2+ shots on goal, and he takes like a big time goal scorer against bad team. It's an everyday thing now.
Well, yes. Kucherov, hey, I mean, if it works, it works. Kucherov of the Tampa Bay Lightning to have 2+ shots on goal at minus 700, which would pay out $26.70 if it hits.
So all he's done is pick very likely to win bets. He's won a bunch of them in a row. He's taken $10 up to potentially $26 tomorrow. I have done the same, although I've lost more recently. So I am now up to $16.28 to win $19.11. My next bet will. I haven't gone over what I did yesterday. Yesterday, I picked Donovan Mitchell to total 25+ points, rebounds, points plus rebounds plus assists for the Cavs against my Sixers, with the idea being the Sixers are not very good. It was the second half of back-to-back. They were going to be resting everybody, and I wanted an emotional hedge. So if and when the Sixers lost, I could say at least I got my ladder challenge bet right. The Sixers lost, but at least I got my ladder challenge bet correct. Donovan Mitchell almost had a triple-double. I only needed 25 points, rebounds, and assists. He had 23 points, 13 rebounds, and 9 assists.
I really wish there was a way on the side, Tim. And Dennis, if you're listening, I'm saying on the side between me and Tim, since I'm filling in tomorrow through Tuesday. Can we do a side one just you and me?
For sure.
All right, perfect.
Side bets are always up.
Well, then in that case,
once they're offered, do you go ahead, lead us off?
That case, I'm going to take the East Carolina Pirates to win straight up.
You and I will both start with 10.
Okay.
All right.
I'm going to take the Pirates straight up just because grew up right down the road from them. They have a chance to become bowl eligible, which would be huge. After they start at 3-5, they're taking the Tulsa Golden Hurricanes tonight. $10 would pay out $1.41. That's easy way to start off.
So you'd be 11.41. All right. Let me make. All right. Here we go. All right. So I'll go the same bet against you as I'm going against Dennis because I haven't had time to figure any of them out, figure a new one out. But it's a Thursday night football bet. Saquon Barkley over 60 rushing yards tonight. Washington gives up the 6th most rushing yards per game to running backs. Now that's total running backs, right? So if there's a committee, you add them together because the Eagles, they don't really committee as much. Saquon gets a bulk of their carries. So Saquon to go over 60. I have a list of other running backs that have gone for 60+ yards against the Washington Commanders. Jaylen Warren went for 66. Tyrone Tracy went over 60. DeAndre Swift went for almost $130. Derrick Henry went for $132. James Conner went for 104. Chase Brown went for 62 in the same game that Zach Moss went for 58. Devin Singletary went for 92. Bucky Irving was slightly over 60. There's a lot of running backs who I don't believe, outside of maybe Derrick Henry there, who I don't believe are on the same level as Saquon Barkley. And the offensive lines are not on the same level as the Eagles that have gone for 60. And then also it's a Thursday night game, which, things always get weird. It's a division game. Things always get weird. I could see Saquon having a 50-plus yard carry and getting almost all of it right there by himself. So in my competition against Dennis, that is $16.28 to win $19.11. In my competition against Graham, which we started a little side hustle, a little side bet, it is $10 to win $11.74. So that's including stake and payout. So winning $1.74. That's the ladder challenge. Saquon Barkley over 60 rushing yards tonight. Graham, there was a lot of conversation going on over there in the producer's room. Are we good?
Yeah. We were just trying to figure out when we're going to get Pack Therapy posted.
No.
Well, let's say tomorrow morning.
There's a conversation we can have. Pack Therapy podcast with myself, Mike Lennon, co-hosting. Talking Pack football should be up. New episode for this week up shortly. Right now, it's time for ACC basketball cons and cons. Usually on Thursdays about this time, we go into Panthers cons and cons. What are you most confident about? What are you most concerned about with the Carolina Panthers? They're on bye this week, so it's not as vital. Also, 2 of the 3 teams in college football in the Triangle are on bye, as Duke and NC State have their byes. So, we could do just UNC football, but instead I thought it was a good time. We've now seen 3 or 4 games from the basketball teams. It's a good time for a little ACC basketball cons and cons. What are you most confident in? What are you most concerned about when it comes to the 4 ACC basketball teams from the state of North Carolina? It's a simple question. If you have answers, you can send them in on our YouTube live stream. Just go to the comments right underneath there. You can also send them to us on social media. At Donnelly Sports comes right to my computer. I monitor it throughout the show. So, as always, we go in the order of the podium. We start with whoever's off the podium on Monday and work from there. NC State is up first. What are you most confident about? What are you most concerned about when it comes to the NC State men's basketball team? I have good news and bad news. Which do you want? You always pick bad news, so we start with the concern. I'll lead us off. It's something I've been talking about a lot with this team. I'm concerned that they're going to be leaning too much on what were role players last year. Right? It's Michael O'Connell, it's Jaden Taylor, it's Ben Middlebrooks, depending on them too much. And that's not to say they can't shoulder that weight. I think they've all improved. They're all showing signs of something special this year. But don't let them be a crutch, meaning Dontrez Styles, where's he from, Graham?
K-Town.
There you go.
K-Town, stay down.
Share a hometown with our very own Graham Hill, Kinston. As well as Jerry Stackhouse and Brandon Ingram.
Reggie Bullock, good company.
Very big basketball area, which is, that's where Graham's from. It makes sense. Dontrez Styles, Marcus Hill, these guys have to be willing to stand out on their own and not always have the returners. And I'm not even talking about from a production standpoint. Michael O'Connell was very obviously a safety net for them in that game last night against Coastal. When he was out with the foul trouble, they didn't look like the same team. He finished with 5 points. It's not like they need him out there to do the producing. They need him out there to set tones and to initiate things and be in the right place at the right time. Everybody should be able to do that, and you shouldn't have to lean on the veterans for it. Kevin Keatts was asked after the game about distributing the ball and where are the shots coming from, and this is what the head coach of NC State had to say.
I think offensively we've been really good in the 3 games. If you look at it, we've scored around 80-some points or more in every game, which is a little surprising for this group early on. The other thing I'll point out is this group has really passed the ball well. We've had games of 18 and 22 assists, and tonight we had 11. We're starting to understand how to get people the ball.
Starting to understand how to get people the ball. Now you just need to make sure everybody understands which people to get the ball and where to get the ball and how to get them the ball. That's my concern. Do you have one, Graham?
I was just going to say, I mean, you brought it up with Michael O'Connell last night. It seems like they'll have guys that will start to get things going for them offensively, and then they get into foul trouble, and it kind of takes the momentum out of the sails a little bit. I didn't get to watch much of Presbyterian, but when I was at the USC Upstate, what do we say?
USCU, University of South Carolina Upstate.
When I was at that game, Dontrez Styles got out to a quick 9 points with a dunk and a three-pointer. And just like that, he picked up 2 fouls and then had to sit for 7 minutes in the first half. And it just kind of felt like that killed his momentum. Just like last night, Michael O'Connell got into early foul trouble, and it just trickled down to a whole team effect. So I don't want to see one guy get into foul trouble early in the first half because I feel like it's just going to affect the rhythm of the rest of the team.
Boom. Let's get to confidence. That's more fun, right?
Yes.
The confidence for NC State men's basketball. What are you most confident in for the Wolfpack? This is an easy answer for me, and it's been the same for a while for State. I am confident in their confidence. And I think part of it is because for everything that went bad last year, it still went good, like really good. So now when things kind of tilt against them, they just it's what's the it's like a motivational saying. What would you do with your life if you knew you couldn't fail? If you knew you were going to succeed, what would you do? NC State kind of operates that way, like where they didn't have a great game against Coastal, or they didn't do this, or this guy got in foul trouble, or they didn't have a great showing in their opener, and they're just like, well, yeah, last year we didn't do well either, but we ended up in the Final Four as ACC champions. So like we can't fail, and that confidence, while not true, right? You can fail, right? But that confidence. Sometimes you speak it into existence. They just seem like nothing is going to rattle them because last year all the crazy stuff happened and they were able to come out on the other side. So they'll just lean on that experience. I'm confident in their confidence.
My confidence is, and I want to get your thoughts on this, it seems like at certain times during games, the different rotations that Keats puts out there, it feels like it changes the identity of the team a little bit. And what I mean by that is when you have like Brandon Huntley-Hatfield out there, they can go down low in the paint. Then you have another group out there that's sort of the run-and-gun offense that Keats likes his identity of teams to be. And then another group of guys can be sort of your three-point shooting team. So it just seems like maybe he's just trying to figure it out. But to me, it seems like it honestly works as far as where they're at in the game. It can maybe change things up a little bit as far as how the other teams has scouted them coming to the game defensively.
Correct me if I'm wrong. That sounded very, very hockey. You got your scoring line, you got your grinding line, you got your fourth line. Like they send them out based on situation.
I guess I've just been used to seeing too many teams that have red, black, and white as their colors.
Yeah,
so.
exactly. Same arena. Right?
Same arena too. Club Lenovo.
I love what Rod does with the pick and roll. It's really gotten them defending the paint well.
Marty Natchez can shoot the three ball very well.
You know what? I'm not doubting Marty Natchez on anything right now. If Marty Natchez was playing college basketball, he'd be a Wooden Award candidate. So there's NC State. Let's jump to UNC. Next up, what are you most concerned about with UNC? I don't know if this is a concern, but it's something I'm noticing. And if they don't have a plan to change it moving forward, it becomes a concern. Not trusting the new guys. It was very obvious in their opener, who they play, Elon, that as soon as it got close, they went, all right, I know we have 2 stud freshmen. I know we have some transfers. They're just not going to get minutes. They're not, and if they are on the floor, we're not going to trust them to do much. Against Kansas, the team shot 42.9% from the field. 42.9. Not awful, but not great. Van Allen Lubin, the transfer, Drake Powell, and Ian Jackson, the freshman, combined to shoot 70%, but on obviously a much smaller sample size. I'm not saying take shots away from R.J. Davis or Seth Trimble or some of the guys who we know to be very, very good players for him, but use the new guys. They're talented. Like, if they're there just as window dressing, you're not getting the full impact of their ability. So the reason why I say, like, it's only a concern if they don't have a plan, Hubert Davis might easily just be saying, we don't want to overwhelm them. We want them to get their feet wet. Like, we're not going to have them do a cannonball off the deep end. We're going to have them walk down the stairs in the shallow end and then wade to the deep end. If that's what they're doing and that's the plan, that's fine. As long as by, mid-December, the new guys are being trusted a decent amount, I'll be okay. But as of right now, it doesn't appear as if they're, Ian Jackson's like scoring a bunch in a game, and it just doesn't feel like they ever went, let's see if we can keep riding this. They went more to like, good, thanks, now let's go back over here. It's just a different vibe.
My concern for North Carolina is that it might be the RJ Davis show at times again, as far as there's a reason why he came back. As a Carolina fan, you're happy, especially in that Elon game when he hits that big three to put them back up. You're thinking to yourself, that's the reason we're glad RJ Davis is back. You just don't want it to be a recurring theme like it was in the Elon game. I know Seth Trimble was the leading scorer against Kansas with 19. RJ Davis trailed behind him with 16. But they have a good enough roster with enough talent that they shouldn't be relying on RJ Davis as much as I'm hoping they don't.
That's interesting. I might fight back on you on that one a little bit. The more you can trust R.J. Davis, I'm good with it. I think he's a guy who's efficient enough that at greater volume you won't lose the efficiency. But if that's at the risk, I guess if other people are going to check out because of it.
I mean, maybe right now at the start of the season, like you said, where it kind of seems like Coach Davis doesn't trust his younger guys, and I'm sure eventually Elliot Cadeau is going to get his.
Elliot Cadeau is an interesting one because I think you trust him, and he's the kind of guy you give more usage to, and everyone else likes it because he's such a good passer. Like keep putting the ball in his hands, nobody's going to complain about it. My confidence for UNC, I don't know how it could be. This one for me, it might be too right down the middle. Their mental fortitude after that Kansas game, being down 20 on the road at the number one team in the country and coming back to take the lead. That's a team who, you put that on film early. No team gets to take a break against you ever, right? You're later on in the season, someone's beating you up, whatever, you're having an off night. They're going to be worried about that because they know you got to get knocked out if UNC you got to knock UNC out. There's no winning on the cards, or else they're going to be swinging to knock you out all the way up till the final bell. So I was really impressed with how that team reacted once things went pretty darn bad for them in the first half against Kansas.
Along the same lines, that's kind of my confidence as well, as far as this team now knows that they can fight back in any situation or crawl themselves out of any hole. And going back to that Kansas game, they had everything going against them in that game. They were on the road at number one, at Allen Fieldhouse, the Fog, and they got down by 20 in the first half. And even before the game, just listen to the Carolina Insider podcast with Jones Angel and Adam Lucas. Apparently there was a bug going around amongst the team.
Didn't know that.
And Elliot Cadeau, Jones said during warmups, you could tell was not 100%. And yet they still found a way to get it to where it just came down to a missed shot that cost them the game. So my confidence for Carolina is that they're a team that's going to be able to dig themselves out of a hole.
As a former college athlete, there's no worse feeling than when the second player gets sick. One guy gets sick, everyone's cool, right? It's like, hey, so-and-so's not going to be at practice today. They're under the weather. And you're like, all right, that's fine. But then when, someone else in their position group also just went home, they're not feeling good.
You're like, crap.
Then you're like, oh, no, because it's contagious and it's been here, right? They probably caught it in the facility, and then all of a sudden everybody's pounding airbornes and emergencies and drinking all the water because it's like, it happens in slow motion. Wake Forest, what are you most concerned about for Wake Forest? I talked about it earlier. I'm not going to harp on it again. Lack of consistency. Last season it was brutal. This week it's popping its head up. They played well against Michigan, won the game, then needed a furious finish to beat South Carolina upstate. I'm worried about their consistency.
I'm right there with you. Outside of Efton Reed, it may be a concern as far as kind of like NC State when we talked about in the program earlier. They might not have a go-to scoring guy right now. They're still trying to work through it.
Hunter Salas was that guy last year. He hasn't quite been as prolific this year, but I think that's if he doesn't end up being one of the best scorers in the ACC, Wake's in trouble.
And even Steve Forbes' comment on this last night after the close loss to USCU. There we go, I got it right. That until someone steps up and is consistently performing on both ends, this is how it's going to be for a while.
My confidence for Wake Forest, and this is a new one for Wake, raw talent. Wake Forest has 3 former 5-star recruits. You end up being a 5-star. Granted, Omaha Blue is injured for a while, but should be back for a chunk of the season, postseason. 5 stars, you aren't a 5-star on like Wiley veteranship. You're a 5-star because you run fast, you jump high, you score a bunch in the EYBL circuit. That's Efton Reed, Hunter Salas, and Blue, as I said. Freshman Juke Harris and sophomore Tyler Johnson, both top 100 recruits in their class. Trayvon Spillers led App State in scoring, rebounding, field goal percentage, and minutes last season before transferring. Hildreth is proven a double-digit scorer at the ACC level already. They have talent. It's about putting it together. But I don't know if there's been a more just like physically gifted basketball skills Wake Forest team in at least a handful of years. So my confidence is in their raw talent. How about you, Graham?
My confidence is that they'll be entertaining. That's for sure. As far as you want to talk about inconsistency, you can expect a lot of games like we saw last year where they take NC State to the wire on the road. NC State then goes over to Winston-Salem, and Wake Forest gets the best of them. Same thing with Carolina, close at the Dean Smith Center. Wake Forest gets the best. Well, I can't remember if North Carolina lost to Wake Forest and Winston-Salem. Same thing with Duke. Go and have a terrible shooting performance in Cameron Indoor. So maybe just Wake Forest at home is the same trend as last year.
Yeah, I want to see them play some real road tough games before I get too far down there. And then finally, the gold medalist from our podium earlier, Duke. Concern. My concern is how they're going to react to what might appear like a slow start to the season. They just lost to Kentucky, who is ranked 19th. 3 of their next 5 games are against top 10 teams in the country. They play Wofford. They should use that as a learning experience. Then they play number 9 Arizona, number 1 Kansas, Seattle U, and then number 5 Auburn. 3 of their next 5 games are against top 10 teams in the country, which means you could play good basketball and be 4-4 or 5-3. You could be getting better and be 5-3, 4-4. That's rough. That'll test your belief. Will everybody stay bought in? When everybody came in with all the hype, you were 6th in the country preseason, you have this draft pick, that draft pick, this lottery pick, that lottery pick, and you start your season, with 3 losses in your first 8, 4 losses in your first 8. Does everybody stay the course, or do you start to get I'm going to get mine. My NIL, you know how it works. That could be a little concerning if, by the way, they're young. They'll be better at the end of the year than they are now. Their schedule is a meat grinder early on.
My concern for Duke, and hear me out on this.
I'm here for it.
I think they might be missing Jeremy Roach. And what I mean by that as far as they need a guy that has a great job like Roach did as far as distributing the basketball and just seeing the floor with good vision. It was clear the other night where there was a couple times where Cooper Flagg was able to separate himself from his defender and was wide open for a 3-point shot, and his teammates just missed him. Jeremy Roach was good last year as far as getting the ball to playmakers when the defense was least expecting it. And then when Jeremy Roach was needed to be a clutch performer, that's when he was able to do it.
Yeah, I do think they missed him down the stretch as just a veteran, calm distributor. Maybe it would have to end up being like that shifts thing we were talking about, because if he were still around, I would still be tantalized by these giant lineups they're playing. Right now, their rotation has no one shorter than 6'5". Jeremy Roach obviously is. So I'm not sure where he would fit in, but it would have been nice to have a veteran point guard. I think the better way to do it would be to get or work on having the Duke point guards, the Tyrese Proctors, or even like a Cooper Flagg playing like a veteran by the end of the year. Then maybe you won't miss the veteran as much. My confidence, I'm going to keep it simple because we're up against it. My confidence is Cooper Flagg.
All right, we're in agreement.
He's talented.
Cut the music.
There's not a ton more you need to say.
I'll go different.
Okay.
Concanipple.
Well, and both, that's not we should not say either of them are perfect, because Concanipple had a cold shooting second half. Cooper Flagg dribbled it off his foot with the game on the line, maybe twice. They're not perfect, but they've shown enough that I'm like, if they put this thing together, watch out. Both of them have shown enough. And Kamen Malawash. I don't know why we're leaving him out. He's another monster freshman. He's 7'2", can leap out the gym. Eventually, his teammates are going to learn that when he sets his screen and rolls to the bucket, throw an alley-oop. It will throw the lob. It will look like Tyson Chandler, but maybe even taller and higher jumping. Like, just throw the lob like Chris Paul did to Tyson Chandler all those years with in New Orleans. Do it. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. If you listen to this show, you know how much I care about local youth sports, how important I think it is. We talked with Kayla Shea Menendez, Deputy Director of the Durham Sports Commission, and Dr. Ingrid Wicker-McCree, Durham Sports Commission Board of Directors Chair, earlier today. They have some events coming this way that they wanted to highlight, and some ways you can help youth athletes in the area. So stick around for that conversation. It's coming up next.
Is your heating and air system ready for cooler weather? Call Newcomb & Company today to schedule a routine maintenance and ensure your system is operating at peak performance. Become a Comfort Contract customer to receive priority service and a 15% discount on service calls and repairs for HVAC and plumbing work. Newcomb & Company has served the area as a Carrier Factory authorized dealer for more than 3 generations. Turn to the experts today. Call 919-862-3000 or find us at newcombandcompany.com. Newcomb & Company and Carrier. Your comfort is our business.
It's Tim Donnelly for Window Nation. Right now, save 50% off all window styles, plus 0 interest for 5 years. Hurry, sale ends November 30th, so schedule an in-home estimate at 866-90NATION or visit windownation.com. That's windownation.com.
Morning people wake up for peace and quiet. McDonald's breakfast people, we wake up for the sweet rush of getting that warm, delicious breakfast right before it ends.
Enjoy a savory sausage McMuffin with a fluffy egg for only $2.50. Be a McDonald's breakfast person. Get the most important deal of the day right after you wake up. Price and participation may vary, cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Welcome to Staples.
Help! My family's in for the holidays and I need gift ideas.
That's why we're here. Staples has amazing deals on everything you need. Photo gifts, laptops, and gaming systems. Even custom holiday cards and shipping solutions to send gifts to the family that can't make it.
Perfect! Have anything for Uncle Frank? I love him, but the guy is never quiet.
Noise-canceling headphones. For you.
You get it.
Unwrap huge holiday savings at Staples. And right now at Staples, save up to $350 on select computers. Ends 11/16, in-store only.
'Tis the season for family and friends. 'Tis the season for gifting. And 'tis the season for making holiday dreams come true. 'Tis the season for using the old-timey contraction 'tis. And 'tis the time of year for holiday scratch-offs. With over $85 million in total prizes, 'tis the best gift of all.
'Tis the season to gift endless joy with holiday scratch-offs from the North Carolina Education Lottery. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning range from 1 in 3.06 to 9.95. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Caesars Sportsbook is the only sportsbook app with Caesars Rewards. Win or lose, every bet you place brings you closer to perks only Caesars can offer. Hotel stays, bonus bets, game tickets, and more. Download the app using the promo code Radio1000 and you'll place your first bet today. If you win, great. If not, you'll get it back as a bonus bet up to $1,000. Must be 21 plus and physically present in North Carolina. New users only must register using eligible promo code. First bet after registration must qualify. Max bonus bet $1,000. Bonus bet expires 14 days after receipt. Void where prohibited. See Caesars.com/promos for full items. Tribal Casino Gaming Enterprise is a licensed operator by the North Carolina State Lottery Commission. Know when to stop before you start. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
Hi, it's Adam Golden. I would like to help you. Yes, I would. I want to make your life easier, especially if you are a contact lens or glasses wearer, as I was about 15 years ago. And then I met Dr. Lori Travers and Travers LASIK, and she completely changed my life. I no longer put contact lenses in my eyes. I no longer wear glasses when the contact lenses are annoying. I no longer have to go out and buy replacement lenses, prescription sunglasses, and all the accoutrements that come with using those items. 919-510-6830, TraversLASIK.com. Get a free consultation. Change your life. I just wake up every day and go. Travers LASIK. Dr. Lori Travers is the only LASIK specialist in the Triangle. Take advantage. Oh, and by the way, 0% financing for 2 years is available. TraversLASIK.com. 919-510-6830 for Travers LASIK. See what you've been missing.
Welcome back into The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. Joining us now actually in studio, we have Kayla Shea Menendez, the Deputy Director of the Durham Sports Commission, and Dr. Ingrid Wicker-McCree, the Durham Sports Commission Board of Directors Chair. I hope I got those titles right. Very impressive. They're joining us here to talk about some events coming to the area. So we'll start with the absolute basics, and either of you can take this one. Champions Durham Classic. What is it, and why are we excited about it?
The Champion Durham Classic is this will be the fourth year that we're hosting this event. It will take place at Hillside High School on November 21st through 23rd. Really excited. It's an opportunity for us to showcase local high school talent. And we've got 6 teams from Durham, Hillside, Jordan, Southern, boys and girls. We have a team coming in from Raleigh. It's Cardinal Gibbons girls team, and several others from outside of the Triangle area, including one from Chesapeake, Virginia. So it'll be a lot of energy in the gym and great competition.
How do you choose the teams? Is this you got to be like a baller the year before? Like, how does that happen?
Yeah, so we have conversations with Durham Public Schools, specifically David Hackney, who serves as the athletic director for DPS, and we have lots of connections and relationships with the current athletic directors and some of the coaches, and so we all come together to identify which teams we want to participate in the Champion Durham Classic. We're talking with a couple of representatives from the Durham Sports Commission, and we're looking forward to that Champion Durham Classic. The people that listen to this show know this about me. I believe youth sports are important. I think these events are awesome to give the kids. It feels like the Super Bowl to them, right? It's bigger crowds and all of that, but also ticket sales are going to benefit the Durham Sports Commission's One Team, One Durham Fund, which, I mean, these are the things that I like. Go into what the One Team, One Durham Fund does and how much impact they have.
So the One Team, One Durham Fund supports our youth in the community, especially for those that may not have the finances or the wherewithal to afford how much it costs in this multi-billion-dollar, youth sports industry. And so that's one of the benefits for us owning some of our own events from Durham, because we can move those funds to this fund. And so it really is designed to close the gap for those young people that cannot afford to participate. So it could pay for registration fees, for travel, equipment, uniforms, and things like that. And so I think that the One Team, One Durham Fund really addresses that marginalization of youth participation in sports.
I want to highlight some of the numbers here that were sent over ahead of this interview because they're quite frankly pretty surprising. According to the Aspen Institute State of Play 2023 report, the average family pays over $900 annually for one child's primary sport. I have a 3.5-year-old. We do like the little baseball thing, but you think, like soccer, like, oh, cleats and what else do you need? But it all adds up. It's the travel, it's the registration fees, as you mentioned, and just another stat that was passed along. Only 22% of children from families earning $25,000 or less are participating in organized sports, compared to 20% more. 42% of children in households earning $100,000 or more. As I said, I think youth sports are important. I played all the way up through, and a lot of the things that I kind of like about myself, I feel like I learned on a youth sports field somewhere. So that right there, I mean, Champion Durham Classic, it's a great event. Go watch some high school. But even if you're not into high school basketball, go try to support it, because One Team, One Durham Fund, if you're helping to close that gap, I think that's wildly important.
Well, wait until your 3.5-year-old becomes 6.
What this is telling you is I need to start saving. I need to start putting money away now, so once he's picks his favorite sport and wants to go for it, we're ready.
Yes, absolutely. And it really speaks to, our mission. We're a 501c3 organization established in 2016, and it's twofold. It's driving economic impact through sports in Durham, and that's the recruitment and the retention of local, regional, and national sporting events. But also the second fold of that is the social impact that we have on our local community. And so it's one of the ways, the One Team, One Durham is just one of the many ways that we try to really wrap our arms around our youth and our community and in Durham.
That voice you hear, most recently, Kayla Shea Menendez, Deputy Director of the Durham Sports Commission. Earlier in the conversation, you heard from Dr. Ingrid Wicker-McCree, Durham Sports Commission Board of Directors Chair. And I'll add this is like another side thing of what you guys are doing. Bringing events like this, when youth sports athletes, you don't realize it, but like the high school players are there celebrities, right? Because you
That's right.
you imagine yourself, out there on the court, and bringing these events makes it more tangible, right? You might not be able to talk to a Carolina Panther, but you can talk to one of these high schoolers that's participating in an event like the Champion Durham Classic. And to take a step up, the 69th annual NAIA Football Championship is also coming to the area December 21st. Talk about bringing those events, and I think that's more the economic impact and bringing things to Durham. But what surrounds the NAIA? I told you off air I was going to stumble through that. NAIA Football Championship to Durham.
So the NAIA Football Championship, this will be the 4th year that we're hosting this event. The NAIA is headquartered in Kansas City, Missouri, and they were established in 1937. They are a membership of over 250 institutions, predominantly small private colleges and universities. And within their membership, they have 97 football programs. And so when the 2 championship teams get to Durham, again, as we, the second fold of our mission in terms of social impact, when the student athletes get here every year, we do have some sort of activity in the community, whether it's volunteering with the Durham Rescue Mission or whether it's putting on a sports clinic, a football clinic for, local kids in the area. So we did 2 of those last year with each championship team that went really well. So it's an awesome time. We also have a student athlete experience for both championship teams where we bring in speakers and we get to interview the coaches, the student athletes, and just really get the athletes pumped up for what they're getting ready to do. I mean, a lot of this is about, as a student athlete, creating memories. These are things that they're going to remember for the rest of their lives, and they would have created those and had those here in Durham, which is really special to us.
And also, too, I'm
Yep,
sorry,
go ahead.
just the fact that we're exposing our youth in the community and those aspiring college football
Mm-hmm.
athletes, that the NAI is an option, right? With over 77,000 student athletes and $800 million in scholarships, a lot of parents and a lot of athletes don't know about the NAI. So now here's another option outside of the traditional NCAA Division I, II, and III that we're sharing with our community.
And the people that show up, they show up with their cash. Again, I'm bringing up the numbers, generating $1.3 million in total economic impact for Durham over the past 3 years. Obviously, you hope that continues and grows, but what does that do for Durham? I mean, it's crazy.
Oh, it does so much. I mean, last year, just thinking about the visitation to Durham, it was over 13 million, and it was over 1 billion spent, in Durham. And so when we think about where that money is spent, it's transportation, it's food and beverage, it's lodging, it's recreation, and it's retail. And so anytime we have an opportunity to drive visitation to Durham, that's what we're all about, and happy to be able to do so through the vessel of sports.
Let's get to the details, the stuff they need to know. Tickets for both the Champion Durham Classic and the NAIA Championship. Where can they find them with the accessibility? Give those kinds of details.
Yes, so DurhamNCSports.com. Tickets can be purchased, again, for the Champion Durham Classic that's happening in November. The proceeds of those tickets will go to support our One Team One Durham Fund for the NAIA Football National Championship in December. If people want to tack on and add a donation to their final ticket price, they're more than happy to do that. We encourage that as we work to continue to have an impact in Durham.
And just because I think you can tell I believe in the cause. Maybe you don't have the interest in high school basketball, or you're busy that weekend, or whatever it is. One Team One Durham Fund, is there a way people can become involved or contribute, even if the ticket isn't something they're interested in?
Yes, absolutely. Yes. So we're also looking for volunteers throughout the year. We have so many opportunities to get involved and to get engaged. And also be sure to follow us on Durham NC Sports. DurhamNCSports.com. You just heard that's also the handle. So check them out on social media. A lot of great information there. Thank you to both of you for coming through, and continue with the good work. We'll be a resource for you whenever you need it. Thank you.
Once again, Kayla Shea Menendez, Deputy Director of the Durham Sports Commission, and Dr. Ingrid Wicker McCree, Durham Sports Commission Board of Directors Chair. Both joined us earlier today, and I'm a sucker for helping out youth sports, so be sure to check out the everything they just said, as well as the Champion Durham Classic, which has some proceeds going towards helping youth sports in the area. We're going to take a break. When we come back, it is time for the starting five, including 2 football games tonight, a double dose of Thursday night football. Stick around.
Stop letting high-interest debt weigh you down. Pay it all off in days thanks to Loan Pronto's new Rapid Equity Loan. Hey, Dennis Cox, my friends over at Loan Pronto. Listen up, homeowners. Imagine a completely hassle-free way to cash out your home equity. No appraisals, no paperwork, no waiting. Loan Pronto's all-new Rapid Equity Loan uses AI-driven technology to get you approved for cash out in as little as 1 day. One client got $100,000 approved in under 24 hours, wiped out their debt, launched a home improvement project, and is now saving over $1,000 a month. Instant approvals, low fixed rates, fast transfers. Get cash to consolidate all your debt and get a fresh start for the new year. Call Loan Pronto now and see how much you qualify for. Imagine this time next week you could be credit card debt free. Don't wait. Get your cash fast. Call 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781. On approved credit, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Move your sports day forward.
Panthers, yes, are back in business at 3-7. I'm not sure if it's back in business, but I would say that if the street was closed out in front of the Panthers and all of a sudden at least the sidewalk opened up, that's probably about what you're going to get in terms of being back in business. But a win is a win, and this is the hottest team in the NFC South.
Get set up. Join Next Up with Paul Ihander. Mornings at 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365, where every nail-biting overtime win, breakaway, pick six, three-point shot, underdog win, buzzer beater, shootout, walk-off, and absolutely every play in between is amazing. From football to basketball and hockey to baseball, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. 21 plus only.
Hey, what do you say? John Forsland here for my friends at Buffalo Brothers. I live and work on both coasts, travel the country, and there's nothing better than Buffalo Brothers. The best wings on the planet and half-price appetizers Monday through Friday, 4:30 to 6. Visit all 5 Triangle locations and ask for their great daily beer specials. And how about this special? Every Sunday, they have $6 Bloody Marys and $6.50 Jamesons. Dine in, carry out. BuffBrothers.com. Aw, man, now I want wings.
Reason number 52 to choose Diamonds Direct over any other jeweler. Only Diamonds Direct gives you a 110% diamond upgrade guarantee. Let us explain. If you buy a diamond at Diamonds Direct today and decide in the future you want to upgrade to a larger diamond, Diamonds Direct will give you 110% of your original purchase price toward the new stone. For example, let's say you bought her a $5,000 diamond last year, but now she wants to upgrade to a $6,000 diamond. Diamonds Direct will give you $5,500 toward the new one. That's 10% more than you paid the first time. Guaranteed appreciation. Whether that first diamond was $3,000 or $30,000, you get 10% more. Who else does this? And unlike other stores who claim to offer diamond upgrades, at Diamonds Direct, there's no fine print and no minimum purchase requirement. It's 10% more, period. Come and discover real value and buy with confidence. Official jeweler of the Carolina Hurricanes and proud sponsor of NC State Athletics and proud to call the Triangle home. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
Want to keep your gas-powered engines running like new? Staples' proprietary formulas are proven by third-party testing to outperform the competition in keeping fuel fresh, preventing corrosion, and cleaning the entire fuel system. With Stable, you can have confidence you are doing the right thing for your engine's long-term health. Just pour into your gas can or fuel tank, then top off with fresh fuel. At every fill-up or when you store, start with Stable. Available where fuel additives are sold.
Adam Gold in studio with my man Sammy Hanna, owner-operator of the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. I tell people this all the time. If I am doing a commercial for somebody, I am vouching for who they are and what they do. You guys do great work, but your customer service stands above all the great work that you do.
Adam, I truly appreciate that testimonial. And yeah, we try to take pride in our customer service and meet and exceed our homeowners' expectations on all their home improvement needs. Obviously, there's many companies out there that do what we do. If you Google home improvements, Raleigh, you're going to get many companies. But you're not going to find too many companies out there that have a 4.9 rating and over 800 Google reviews and over 7,000 Guild Quality reviews. It takes a lot of work on our part to make sure we meet and exceed all your expectations on customer service. And we're going to continue to do so because that's why we've been in business since 1961.
I have used the Aluminum Company. I have not heard anyone that had anything but incredible things to say about all of you, and that is amazing. That's a testimony to how you guys do it. Aluminum Company of North Carolina, aluminumcompany.com.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com.
They score! WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on radio, web, app, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports leader.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm WRAL meteorologist Mike Mays. We've had a chilly, unsettled day today. We have showers likely this evening, maybe an isolated thunderstorm. The low temperature 48. Mostly cloudy tomorrow, maybe an early sprinkle. 61, 66 Saturday.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 5 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones closes the day down 270 points at 43,750.
It's 5 o'clock. Time to serve up the biggest sports stories of the day. Here comes your starting five.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is just a few minutes after 5 o'clock, and that means it's time for the starting five, starting with number 5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Bye week for the Carolina Panthers, which means we need to check ourselves. Let's not let our imagination run away with us, because I did the math earlier today. I don't even know if this is called math. I counted earlier today. The Panthers are going to go 3 days shy of a month without losing a football game.
Hey, look at that.
3 days shy of a calendar month without losing a football game. And that's assuming they don't beat the two-time defending Super Bowl champion undefeated Chiefs. If they beat the Chiefs, you're looking at over a month.
That's their Super Bowl.
Kind of. But also, this is what I mean when I say we need to not let our imaginations run away with us. The Panthers have won 2 straight games. That's worthy of celebration. That's not worthy of changing expectations. Right? We do that with teams where if a team shows they are simply better, they are above what we thought they were, all right, let's all get together. We had to do that for Duke football this year. Duke football preseason, we said it should be make a bowl game or bust. Do whatever you can to get 6 or 7 wins. As long as you're playing a bowl game, gold star.
The win projection was 4 wins.
Then they got 6 wins in their first 7 games, and we went, all right, we all got to collect. And we did it on the show. We got everybody together, and we said, what are the new expectations? What are the new goals, right? Like, what can you achieve now? Because what you don't want to do is just stay the same if you're better than what we thought. The Panthers, I'm not doing that. I'm not collecting everybody on a bye week and saying, we thought they were pretty bad a month ago. They've won 2 straight. How much higher are the expectations now? I'm not doing that because that's just setting yourself up for failure. The Saints stink. The Giants stink. You beat them both. Celebrate it, but don't get carried away. I would not expect, oh, look at this. Maybe we will compete with the Chiefs. If you compete, great. But expecting that is a problem. Hey, we have 3 wins now. Let's go for 7. Whoa. At the beginning of the year, before we saw all of these struggles, I wasn't expecting 7 wins. If you get to 5 wins, goodness gracious, that's a positive. If you get to 4, you'll live with it. If you don't win another game the rest of the year, well, 3 is more than last year. You're already moving in the right direction. The issues with the Panthers are still the issues with the Panthers. They don't know if they have the quarterback situated, meaning like figured out. They don't know if they have their guy to build around. And there's a lack of depth at darn near every position. So it's going to be a struggle down the stretch. Celebrate the little wins, but don't set yourself up to be disappointed. Don't suddenly change your expectations to, hey, 7 or 8 wins, it's back on the table. Because then I guarantee you're going to be disappointed when you don't come anywhere near those goals.
And I was just about to say the Chiefs are the kind of team that will do that as far as, let's be honest, they are undefeated. Give them credit where credit's due, but they've been playing decent or average football.
Their defense has been playing very well. Their offense has been playing significantly worse than we've seen them.
Average football at the very best. And I could see it being a situation where it'd be so Carolina Panthers fashion to go in there with their hair on fire. They're back at home at Bank of America Stadium coming off the bye week, and it's close. And then all they have to do is just make one little mistake at the very end, similar to an Eddie Pinheiro field goal getting blocked, and the Chiefs win. And then your fan base is in turmoil again.
I will leave this door open for the Panthers optimists out there. If you beat the Chiefs, we'll come together, we'll change expectations. Coming out of the bye week, you get your third straight win, and you ruin the undefeated season of the Chiefs. We'll come together, we'll change expectations. But barring something crazy like that, I'm still right where I was preseason. 5 or 6 wins is a fantastic day. 3 wins, it's better for your draft pick. That's number 5. Let's get to number 4.
1, 2, 3, 4, all together.
Speaking of teams that have changed expectations, Thursday night football in the NFL tonight, the Washington Commanders and the Philadelphia Eagles. It's in Philly, and Washington is a team that has, if you're a Washington fan, if you're a Commanders fan, new coach, new quarterback, new so much coming in, new owner, new whole vibe coming into this year. You probably said if Jaden Daniels shows flashes of being our quarterback of the future, and if the defense improves under Dan Quinn, we'll be all right.
What a heck of a game to start Week 11, too.
Now you're coming into this game against Philly, who Philly came in with extremely high expectations. And Washington's expectations are just as high now. They both have 7 wins. Philly's played 1 less game, so they're 7-2. I believe I have that right. If Washington wins, I don't know if anyone's going to be tremendously surprised. If Jaden Daniels plays great, I don't know if anyone's going to be tremendously surprised. That's how they've changed expectations. That's how we've noticed their roster is better than we thought. Brian Robinson, the running back, better running back than I thought, when healthy especially, which he appears to be this week. Terry McLaurin, I'm a very, very positive Terry McLaurin guy. I've done some radio in D.C. over the last few years, and I've always been, listen, I don't know why everybody's giving this guy such a hard time. Terry McLaurin is great. He's better than I thought he was. I thought they were going to have to bring in a number 2 wide receiver. I was advocating, if I were a Washington fan, I would have been advocating for them to get Brandon Ayuk this offseason when he was appearing to be available in a trade. Terry McLaurin's doing it by himself. There's a McCaffrey up there. There's a De'Ami Brown from UNC. They've got a couple other guys, but this is a really exciting game.
And another reason why it's so exciting is because there's good skill competition against skill position against skilled position. You mentioned it, Terry McLaurin going up against A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Brian Robinson going up against Saquon Barkley, and then a little bit of an SEC versus SEC matchup, even though they played at 2 separate times. Jalen Hurts, former quarterback at Alabama. Jaden Daniels, former quarterback at LSU. Just some great storylines all around. Now, who do you think is going to win?
Who do I think is going to win? I think Philly. I think what Philly's going to do is physically dominate the game. I think there's going to be a heavy dose of Saquon Barkley. There'll be a tush push or two. Maybe Dallas Goedert doing something on a play action. A.J. Brown is A.J. Brown. You expect what you get from him. But then on the other side, I like a lot of the defensive linemen, the Jalen Carters for Philly as far as talent goes. So I think Philly wins, but I've already Jaden Daniels is to the point where I feel kind of foolish picking against him.
Not so fast, my friend. Even though Philly is riding a 5-game winning streak, Tim, they're doing it all against losing record teams.
Yeah, it's been ugly.
Despite their success, they've also shown vulnerability throughout the season in clutch moments. I don't trust Nick Sirianni as a coach, and I just like Jaden Daniels and the hot streak that the Commanders are on. Even though they did lose last week, they're playing at home. It's a clutch Thursday night football matchup. It's also one of the better Thursday night matchups that I feel like we've gotten all season so far. Give me the Commandos, the Commodores at home.
The Thursday night's not as they still get the reputation of the first couple of years. It's not as bad anymore. I think Amazon was like,
we got to fix something.
Stop giving us bad games.
We're losing subscribers.
Yeah. So it's rarely, there's more points scored on average on Thursday night football than in any game on any other day over the past 2 years. So maybe it's not the best played, but there's at least fireworks. That's number 4. Let's get to number 3. Speaking of Thursday night football, it's not just the pros getting involved. ECU Tulsa. tonight. You can hear this game, by the way, right here on 99.9 The Fan. It'll be coming up with the pregame show immediately following Overdrive. Overdrive from 6 to 6:30. Pregame show for ECU Tulsa, 6:30 to 7:30. 7:30 kickoff, and then we'll have the game action right here on 99.9 The Fan. Graham, this is your neck of the woods. Give us the cliff notes for the ECU Pirates.
First things first, what a roller coaster of a ride, or a pirate ship of a ride for East Carolina this year, losing 2 straight games in 4 of its last 5, which resulted in the firing of head coach Mike Houston after its 45-28 loss at Army. Interim coach Blake Harrell, defensive coordinator, took over, and the Pirates have looked like a totally different team. They beat Temple by 22 and then crushed Florida Atlantic at home last weekend, 49-14. In just 2 games, they've scored a combined total of like 105 points, or way over 100 points. They now sit on the precipice of becoming bowl eligible, and one more win. And I think if Harrell wins out, he might put himself in the front running to just take over as head coach for next season.
Interim head coaches are fascinating to me because it's really should be the only time where the head coach and the program might not align. And what I mean by that is when the head coach is running as a permanent head coach, you are thinking about beyond this year. You are thinking about you're both the GM and the coach, right? In the pros, the GM thinks long-term, right? Make sure we have young guys, maybe trade the vets if we're not a contender. Let's plan for the future. The head coach is just trying to win now. In college, the head coach kind of has to be both, right? End of a season, are you bowl eligible? Are you not? Do you play a younger guy? How do you handle the seniors? Like all of that is the head coach is both. Interim head coach doesn't care about next year.
No.
Interim head coach is trying to win so they're around next year. So maybe you don't play the young guys. Maybe you don't re-recruit as much. Maybe you don't put as much emphasis on next year because it's just let's win this week. Let's get a bowl game. Let's make my resume look as good. Once they name me the permanent head coach, then we can get together on the rest.
As a former quarterback, I want your thoughts on this because I've seen 2 big differences in ECU this season since Blake Carroll's taken over. It seemed like under Mike Houston, they wanted to control the line of scrimmage, run the football, stop the run, pat the box on defense, and that's fine if you're playing in the Big Ten. Whereas under quarterback Garcia, which was kind of Mike Houston's, guy last year, starting quarterback last season, after that, once Blake Harrell took over, Michigan State quarterback Katin Hauser, sophomore, which I don't understand.
Michigan State transfer, but
Michigan State transfer, yeah. I don't understand why he wasn't playing to begin with. Just last week against FAU, 17-22 for 343 yards with 5 touchdowns and no picks. They have opened an air raid offense under him. I mean, just going into the stadium last week, just before I get to my seats, within 2 plays, we're walking in, cannons fire, and they scored just like that.
All right. Well, from a quarterback's perspective, but I think this is just from a football player's perspective. One of the harder things to do, and I don't think I could, which is why I'm in media and not coaching. One of the harder things to do, I believe, is have a player who you like and respect more, have a longer relationship with, you know how long they've worked, you know how hard they've worked, and recognize that somebody else who you don't know as well, maybe doesn't work as hard, I'm not saying this exact case, but is better for the team. And I've seen it. I've seen teammates who it's like coaches see it, teammates see it, everybody sees it. This guy works harder. This guy shows up every day early. He stays late. He's been around the program for 3 years. He's waited his time behind other upperclassmen, and now it's supposed to be his time. But then a freshman shows up, and the freshman or the transfer shows up right before practice, leaves right after practice, maybe doesn't work as hard, but when you put the film on, he's better. Sometimes you got to go with the other guy. And I'm not even saying that's the case here, but you bring up Garcia was around last year. Mike Houston just had a relationship with the guy. He might really like Garcia, right? And then you're going like, I don't understand how Katin Hauser wasn't starting. Well, sometimes your brain tells you, I know how hard this guy works. I've been around him for a year. I like this guy. We've been through some battles. Let's go with him when maybe the new guy that transferred in from Michigan State is better. So it's a very, very tough deal for a coach. I also wouldn't, Florida Atlantic's not the best program in the world, so I wouldn't put it all on that
neither
one
is
performance.
Temple.
True, neither is Temple.
Or Tulsa tonight.
So I wouldn't as somebody that's been benched and then the next guy plays well for a couple games, you really want to be like, well, let's be clear. When I was struggling before I got benched, we were playing really, really good teams. Now we're playing the bad teams. You put him in there. Oh, look, he's got better stats.
Of course the film's going to look
I
good.
could have done that too. Like, we don't know all the context. But what I do know is ECU's playing Tulsa tonight, 7:30 kick. The hour previous, starting at 6:30, we have pregame show, and it's all right here on 99.9 The Fan. That's number 3. Let's jump to number 2.
Just the two of us.
NC State men's basketball beat Coastal Carolina last night. Every team is doing it. NC State's is a little bit more unusual because of what they did last year. Finding roles. Every team in college basketball, aside from, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 that seem to return a bunch, you got to get in where you fit in. You got to figure out where you fit in. Coaches have to see what players added to their game, right? NC State is doing that. There's a few things that I have questioning roles. Michael O'Connell, point guard from last season, leading assist guy on NC State's Final Four run, hit the shot against UVA that shook the ACC in the ACC tournament. His role is very well defined. And I'm not even talking from basketball. He's a leader. Last night against Coastal, he got 2 quick fouls. He went to the bench for most of the first half. When he was on the bench, it felt like the rest of the team was lacking a rudder, right? Little motionless, nobody really, not motionless, that's the wrong word, but just it was lacking a little direction. They go into halftime against Coastal, a team that they were favored to beat by 18.5, ahead 2, 35-33. Come out of halftime, Michael O'Connell inserted back into the game. They pretty immediately go on a 10-0 run and take control of the game. The role they need to fill is that co-pilot. If Michael O'Connell gets hurt, if he gets in foul trouble, if he has an off night, if he eats some bad shrimp the night before the game and is stuck to the toilet, if something is happening, who can get that team in the right spot?
Who's Robin the Batman?
And then the other role that also they need to fill, and I don't know if they need to fill it as much as they just need to be aware of where they're going. It's hard to describe. It's leading scorer.
Yeah.
It's DJ Horn. It's DJ Burns when he's in the game. Who is the guy? Now, I talk about this role in basketball all the time. Matter of fact, I don't talk about this role when talking about basketball often. I use it as an example for other sports all the time.
All right, let's go.
At some point this season, the opposing team is going to score 8 straight points. They're going to hit 2 threes and 2 free throws, and you're going to be on the road, and their crowd's going to be getting into it. And you are going to know we need a bucket. I don't care how. I don't care if it's post. I don't care if it's perimeter. I don't care if it's a jump shot. I don't care if it's getting to the line. What we need to have happen is make sure that the broadcast doesn't put up the double-digit to 0 run graphic on the screen. They're on a 10-0 run. They're on an 11-0 run. They're on a 14-0 run. We need a bucket. Last season, they were going to DJ Burns. And DJ Burns in the post, was, if he was in the game, was going to shimmy, 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 move, quick turn, probably a hook shot, off the glass, left hand, good. 8-0 becomes 8-2. Nobody's worried anymore. If he wasn't on the floor or it was later in a game, they'd probably go DJ Horn. He'd probably go off the dribble, maybe get a screen. That's what they were dealing with. I'm not sure where they go this year. The opposing team scores 8 straight. Who does coach call the play for? Jaden Taylor had 22 points last night. He might be the guy. Kevin Keats was asked if the team needs Taylor to lead the charge in that respect.
No, I don't. I think we're going to have a group that on any given night that you might have Marcus Hill with 18, you might have Brandon with 18, you might have someone else, but I think JT played well tonight and the other night, but I don't think this group needs him to have the DJ Horn role. I think we got a lot of guys that are all going to be anywhere from 12 to 15 points a game, just depending on the night and the opponent.
If you have a bunch of guys that are 12 to 15, depending on the opponent, when the opposing team scores 8 straight, who gets the ball?
Or better Or better yet, when you're in a matchup where it's been back and forth all night long because you've had 12 different guys or like 5 different guys scoring 12 points, like Kevin Keats just said, what's going to happen when you get the ball with 8 seconds left and you call that final timeout and then you're like, all right, well, you've scored 9, but you've scored 10, but he's had 14. Who do you want the ball in the hands of to take that last second shot? It could be Michael O'Connell just because he has pretty good luck with that, but
just get him to the,
same spot.
Yeah, get him about 10 feet beyond the three-point arc on the left side and tell him to bank and rattle it in. Part of it is like you don't have to tell everybody. Like, I want to emphasize that. Duke at the end of the game against Kentucky, who's getting the ball. You don't want to have to call everybody together and say, all right, we're going to this guy.
Yeah.
You want everybody to know because that guy can start getting his mind right away. Dead ball, cool. Let me get my mind right because it's me. I don't know if they have that this year, and they got to find out who that is. It might be Jaden Taylor. They didn't have it. It didn't seem last night against Coastal, although Taylor did score 22. That's number 2. Let's get to number 1. The Carolina Hurricanes lost to Utah last night to fall to 1-2 on their road trip. Lost to Colorado, beat Vegas in a dominant fashion, and then lost to Utah last night. There's a little bit of news coming out just moments ago. I'm glad we put them at number 1 on the starting 5 and not number 3 because this news wouldn't have been there yet. The Canes have recalled defenseman Ty Smith from the Chicago Wolves. That's their AHL team. Is that reading between the lines? Could that be another injury? The AHL also the Chicago Wolves team. We learned earlier signed a goalie to a PTO, a professional tryout, which may indicate that somebody else at goal could be being called up to the big league club, which would mean Pyotr Kochetkov might miss some time. We're reading tea leaves here. We don't get a ton of injury information, but we know that Seth Jarvis is hurt. He's day-to-day. Tyson Jost has filled that roster spot on the active roster. Ty Smith being recalled would maybe indicate a defenseman that we maybe aren't aware of is dealing with some kind of a injury that could make them miss time or potentially they just want to be prepared for that.
Ooh.
And then the goalie being signed to the PTO, the professional tryout to the AHL, to the Wolves, could potentially indicate that the goalies are dealing with maybe a worse injury than we're all hoping for, with Freddie Anderson already out. This is hitting the Canes quick. Like, every team's going to deal with injuries, so they're not unique there. But the forwards, the defensemen, and the goalies kind of all getting hit, potentially in key spots. We don't know much about the defensemen. At the same time, that's tough for a team to deal with.
And that's not good news, especially considering the fact that once you start the game on Saturday against Ottawa, that's game 1 of 9 games in 15 days, and you finish out those 9 games with back-to-backs against the New York Rangers and the Florida Panthers.
It's. I said this earlier today. After last night, it's the first time I legitimately feel concerned about the Canes. The injuries, Sebastian Aho still is in this weird goal-scoring funk.
16 games.
Which is, the sample size is getting bigger and bigger and bigger each day. Svechnikov still isn't shooting a high percentage on his shots, although he has a little bit more production. There's legitimate concern, I believe, for the first time this year for the Canes. There's always going to be points of concern. Last year, the Canes, remember they went on a road trip. It was up through Canada about this time. They had a players-only meeting in December.
After they lost to Vancouver by 5 goals.
Yeah, they lost to it was 5 of 6 maybe on a road trip, or 5 straight in Canada that they lost. I don't remember the details, but everybody got very concerned. They got together. They had a players-only meeting. Season turned on a dime. Every season is going to have points of concern. It's just this one snuck up on me.
Yeah.
They were playing well. They were reacting well. When they had bad games, they turned it around quickly. Players were stepping up. Martin Necas turned into some kind of demigod and he still is, still on an 11-game point streak, which is one of the longest in Canes history. Like, there's all of this good happening, and then boom, injury news. Freddie Anderson's still out. Pyotr might be out. We're calling defensemen. Oh, this, oh, that. Oh, now that other thing seems to matter, even though it didn't seem to matter a couple days ago. There's legitimate concern here.
And I know they're coming off a 3-game road stretch where they just went 1-2. And typically when a team goes 1-2 on a 3-game road stretch, you're like, whatever. It's just, I think the way that they lost those 2 games, going back to the Avalanche loss, where it was bad 8 minutes in the second period, and then the other night where gave up 2 or 3 goals in 2.5 minutes. It's like the common theme has been one bad period. They've, for the first time since the Lightning game, where they didn't even play, in my opinion, a fully good period, that's been the common theme the past 2 weeks or the past week.
It's the tangible stuff wouldn't feel as like if they had just lost 2 of 3 on a road trip, but the injuries weren't there. Aho had scored 2, like whatever. Then I wouldn't be worried because 11-4 is 11-4. You're doing fine.
Yeah.
It's the fact that you dropped the 2 on the road trip and all of this other stuff is adding up. It's not the end of the world, just a little concerned. That's all I'm saying. Let's go ahead and jump into, we need some numbers game contestants. We have a $25 gift card to Sharky's. Sharky's with back-to-back-to-back-to-back wins for best wings in the Triangle, voted best sports bar, quite possibly the best neighborhood bar in the world. Sharky's. If you want the $25 gift card, you got to call in and win the numbers game. You don't just get it, you have to win. The number to call is 919-860-5326. That's 919-860-5326. Call in now. Numbers game next.
Hey, Carolina Panthers fans, it's Dennis Cox from 99.9 The Fan. For all the inside information on your team, join me and my co-host, WRAL TV's Chris Lee, for our podcast, Panthers Playbook, presented by Carolina Ford Dealers. In every episode, we'll keep you up to date on your Panthers, and we'll do it with access only we can provide. Locker room insight, exclusive interviews, and in-depth looks at every Panthers game. Follow and subscribe to Panthers Playbook wherever you discover your favorite podcasts or watch on YouTube.
Oh, the NBA is back, and FanDuel is America's #1 sports book for a reason, because they want you to catch all the action. And right now, FanDuel giving everyone 3 months of NBA League Pass. All you got to do to catch every tip-off, every buzzer beater, every dunk is place any $5 wager on the NBA and get 3 months of NBA League Pass, courtesy of FanDuel and me. FanDuel.com/Adam Gold and make every moment more this season with FanDuel. FanDuel.com/Adam Gold. Make every moment more. FanDuel is the official sportsbook partner of the NBA. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. After 3-month free trial, the full price of League Pass will be automatically charged monthly. Cancel anytime. No refunds. Terms, restrictions, and embargoes apply. Limit 1 pass per customer. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With Venture X, earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy and turn everyday purchases into extraordinary trips. Plus, receive premium travel benefits like access to over 1,300 airport lounges where you just check in and chill out. Open up a world of possibilities with Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Hey girl, haven't seen you downtown lately.
Nope, sticking to our go-to places.
You mean like Sharky's?
Well, we love our Sharky's. Best wings and gumbo on the planet. But we never miss the $5 sangrias on Wednesdays at the new Salt and Lime. And Mexican pints on Thursdays for $3.
You know my boy loves the House of Hops. No better selection of craft beer in the state. Loves their specials, their food trucks, and you know I love my wine. They have a wonderful selection.
And have I told you about our new takeout spot, Che Empanadas? It's right next to Sharky's. They have 20 different types of authentic Argentinian empanadas, and they are incredible, especially the breakfast ones. You gotta try it.
Sounds perfect. And how awesome is it that they're so close to each other?
Yes!
Give them a try. Che Empanadas, House of Hops, Salt and Lime, and Sharky's. Just a hop, skip, and a jump from each other off Duralee Road, Glenwood, and Grove Barton.
Organize easy. Organize tough. Customize your work truck or van with upfit solutions from Van Products. Steel and aluminum shelving, toolboxes, data files, cabinets, drawers, conduit carriers, ladder racks, everything safe and secure. Everything built as unbreakable as you by Adrian Steel. Backed by the best warranty in the business. 3 years, 36,000 miles. Everything custom installed by Van Products so you know it's done right. From a single work rig to a fleet, choose custom installed upfit solutions solutions from Van Products.
It's Tim Donnelly for Window Nation. Right now, save 50% off all window styles, plus 0 interest for 5 years. Hurry, sale ends November 30th, so schedule an in-home estimate at 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com. That's windownation.com.
Cheer on Duke football as they face off against the Virginia Tech Hokies on Saturday, November 23rd. This is the last home game in the regular season. Don't miss your chance to see the Blue Devils at Brooks Field at Wallace Wade Stadium. Tickets start at just $42. Add the Devil's Deck in-stadium experience to your ticket and receive exclusive access to the end zone tailgate space with all-you-can-eat food and drink. Tickets are available now at goduke.com/footballticks or by calling 919-681-BLUE. Duke football. Bleed blue.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. It is time to play the numbers game. On the line today, meaning as a prize, we have a $25 gift card to Sharky's. Voted back. I always feel like Chris Berman when I say that. Back. Back to back. Best wings in the triangle. Competing today, we have Mark in Fuquay Varina and Will in Chapel Hill. They're on the line. As always, we have to ask a question. Graham will be our judge to see who gets to go first. He'll pick his favorite answer. We'll start with Mark. Mark, Graham is producing the show today. He's known around these parts for his rejoin music. So coming out of commercial breaks and things, he picks interesting songs. So we'll go with the walk-up question. If you're a baseball player and you get to choose a song to bring you out of the bullpen and play while you get warm, what song are you using as your walk-up song?
I think I'm using Hulk Hogan's theme song, I'm a Real American.
All right. You got a smile at it, Graham. We'll see if Will in Chapel Hill can one-up you, though. Will in Chapel Hill, what is your walkout song if you're like a baseball player or something as you make your introduction?
Gotta be Wild Thing.
Wild Thing, not bad. A little Major League, a little nostalgia there. Graham, these are two good answers. Which one is your favorite?
Jeez, these are tough. In honor of having the Hardy Boys on the show last week, since they do have that wrestling background, we're going to go with I'm a Real American, Hulk Hogan's theme song.
So you're saying we needed Charlie Sheen on the show for you to pick Wild Thing?
Yes. If we had Charlie Sheen on the show, that just would have made things a lot more interesting.
So Mark and Fuquay Varina, you get to go first. Will and Chapel Hill, don't worry, you will have your chance. Just go ahead and hold tight on the line. Mark, are you there?
Yes.
All right. The categories for you to choose from are NFL presidential players. Don't worry, we're not getting political. Just players who share a last name with one of the, throughout history, U.S. presidents. NFL, Philadelphia schoolboys. These are all players that I believe went to at least high school in Philadelphia. NBA, Lakers of the last 20 years, or NHL, Hurricanes only.
Let's go NFL presidential names.
All right. The way this works, I'll give you the team and the player. You give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. There will be 30 seconds on the clock. One pass if you need it. Are there any questions before we get started?
No.
All right, perfect. Your time will start when you hear the horn. Davante Adams, New York Jets.
8.
Incorrect. Justin Jefferson, Minnesota Vikings.
11.
Incorrect. Davante Adams, New York Jets.
14.
Incorrect. Justin Jefferson, Minnesota Vikings.
18.
Correct. Russell Wilson, Pittsburgh Steelers.
3.
Correct. Jerome Ford, Cleveland Browns.
21.
Incorrect. Davante Adams, New York Jets.
12.
Incorrect. Jerome Ford, Cleveland Browns. I was all over the place there, but you did get 2. You got Justin Jefferson with 18. You got Russell Wilson with 3. Davante Adams, who actually shares his last name with 2 U.S. presidents. 17 was the number we were looking for there. That number's been passed around the Jets. It was last year it was Garrett Wilson. This year it started with Malachi Corley. Then he passed it to Davante Adams. But he's been 17, I believe, everywhere. Jerome Ford with the Browns wears number 34. You got 2. We'll see if it holds up. Go ahead and stay on the line.
All right.
That brings us to Will in Chapel Hill. Will, are you there?
I'm here.
All right. The categories remaining for you to choose from are NFL, Philadelphia schoolboys, NBA, Lakers of the last 20 years, or NHL, Hurricanes only.
Let's go Lakers.
Lakers. All right, these are all NBA players that played for the Lakers within the last 20 years. I will give you the team and the player. I will say the team, even though we know it in this category, just to keep it fair with the previous contestant timing-wise. There will be 30 seconds on the clock. You have one pass if you need it. You need 3 for the win. Any questions before we jump in?
Let's go.
Let's go. Your time will start when you hear the horn. LeBron James, Los Angeles Lakers.
6.
Incorrect. Kobe Bryant, Los Angeles Lakers.
8.
Correct. Pau Gasol, Los Angeles Lakers.
13.
Incorrect. LeBron James, Los Angeles Lakers.
24.
Incorrect. Pau Gasol, Los Angeles Lakers.
6.
Incorrect. LeBron James, Los Angeles Lakers.
23.
Correct. Derek Fisher, Los Angeles Lakers.
4.
Incorrect. 2, this is going to sting a little because you did get 2. You got LeBron with 23. You got Kobe with 8. We would have also accepted 24. But a tie goes to whoever goes first. So you are not the winner, but you did get 2. I know that stings a little, but hopefully you had some fun.
That was great.
All right. Appreciate it. Thank you for joining the show. For those of you playing at home, Pau Gasol, number 16 is Pau, and Derek Fisher with the Lakers, number 2. So those were the answers we were looking for. But like we said, tie goes to whoever goes first. That means Mark in Fuquay-Varina. Mark, you are the winner.
Woo!
You won by the Hulk Hogan theme song. That's the one that got you the win because that earned you the first spot, and then a tie goes to who goes first. So shout out to the Hulkster for your win. Hopefully you had some fun. Congratulations. Stay on the line. Graham has some info he needs to grab from you to get your prize.
Thank you.
All right, there you go. Ties, I mean, we have to settle the ties some way. We can't sit here all day just, letting them go back and forth. But sometimes it does feel brutal when somebody ties and doesn't get the win. But that means you can always call back. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Tim Donnelly here for Capital Financial Advisory Group. Coach Pete will help you regain control of your foundation for retirement and see you not just to, but through a worry-free retirement. That's how they think about it, right? I look at retirement kind of like being drafted into a professional league. And what I mean by that is it feels like a finish line, but it's really the starting line, right? You don't want to think about being drafted as dream accomplished. You want to think about being drafted as the start of when your real plan kicks in, so you have a long, prosperous, and lucrative pro career. Well, retirement is the same, right? You look at retirement as the finish line. Like, I'm working towards retirement. I'm looking towards retirement. But really it should be you're looking towards retirement as the starting line to execute your plan to have a long and prosperous and lucrative retirement all the way through to the very, very end. That's what Coach Pete and Capital Financial are looking to do for you. They want to guarantee to give you complete confidence that you have a guaranteed income that does not depend on the success of the market to grow your money, right? It is independent of that. So what you need to do is give them a call, ask them how they can do all of that for you, not just to retirement, but through retirement. It is Capital Financial, and the number to call is 800-691-3215. That's 800-691-3215. Let them know you heard about it from me, and you'll get hooked up with a free copy of one of Coach Pete's best-selling books. But you have to say you heard about it from Tim on 99.9 The Fan. Or if you're not a caller, if you're more of a texter, as so many of us are, the easy way to go about it is just text my name, Tim, to 600-700. That's TIM to 600-700. They'll know where to go from there. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We'll be back in a minute with both NC State and Duke football are on buys. Their bye week is going on right now. How should they be spending their bye week? Stick around to find out.
Is your plumbing outdated or just not getting the job done? Call Newcomb & Company to see how we can help get your home operating at peak performance. Our experienced plumbers can repair or replace faucets, toilets, piping, garbage disposals, water heaters, drain cleaning, and more. Become a Comfort Contract customer to receive priority service and a 15% discount on service calls and repairs. Turn to the experts today. Call 919-862-3000 or find us at newcombandcompany.com. Newcomb & Company. Your comfort is our business.
It's truck season at John Heaster Chevrolet, and boy, do we have the sweetest Silverado deal for you. Right now, you can get that 24 Silverado 1500 you've had your eye on for up to $15,000 off with GM trade-in allowance and Costco private offer. Yes, up to $15,000 off a brand new 2024 Silverado 1500 right now at John Heister Chevrolet. See dealer for details on this sweet Silverado offer. Get off your keister and get to John Heister Chevrolet in Fuquay Varina. Together, let's drive.
Morning people wake up for peace and quiet. McDonald's breakfast people, we wake up for the sweet rush of getting that warm, delicious breakfast right before it ends.
Enjoy a savory sausage McMuffin with a fluffy egg for only $2.50. Be a McDonald's breakfast person. Get the most important deal of the day right after you wake up. Price and participation may vary, cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
For the fourth year in a row, the Durham Sports Commission is proud to present the Champion Durham Classic, a premier high school basketball invitational taking place in the Bull City. As the high school basketball season heats up, you won't want to miss out on all the action. From November 21st to 23rd at Hillside High School in Durham, this exciting sporting event will feature both boys and girls teams from local schools like Jordan, Hillside, Southern, and Cardinal Gibbons. Get your tickets today at DurhamNCSports.com.
See if you're a winner every night. Watch live lottery drawings on WRAL TV's 11 o'clock news. That's right, Carolina Pick 3, Carolina Pick 4, and Carolina Cash 5 numbers every night on WRAL TV's 11 o'clock news. See if you're a winner before you go off to bed. Get your lottery numbers live every night.
North Carolina Education Lottery.
Only on WRAL TV's 11 o'clock news.
North Carolina football fans, picture this. You bet on your favorite player to score the first touchdown, and he throws an awesome block so his teammate can score instead. If this happens, BetMGM wants to give you another chance at the end zone. I'm Victoria Vodnecker with BetMGM, and there is BetMGM's Second Chance promotion, where you'll get your stake back if your first touchdown scorer scores second instead. That's right, bet on any pro football player to score the first touchdown of the game. If you're right, you win. If your player scores second, you get your stake back in cash. Everyone knows the most exciting part of football is the score. With BetMGM's Second Chance promotion, you have a chance to keep the fun going after the first player crosses the goal line. Try the first touchdown score bet today. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only, North Carolina only. Existing customer offer subject to eligibility requirements. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
We're definitely going to be late to the concert. I feel like we should be there by now.
I'm just taking a little detour. I gotta fill up my gas tank, and I know this place a couple towns over where the gas is cheaper.
Are you serious? We're gonna be late for the concert because you're driving out of the way for cheaper gas? Just use Upside.
What's Upside?
Upside is the free cashback app that gets you real cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait, I can get cash back just for buying the gas I need anyway?
Yes, I use it all the time, and I've made around $200. Now pull over so you can download the Upside app before we miss the concert.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code TRAFFIC25 to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime, right to your bank, PayPal, or as a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code TRAFFIC25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code TRAFFIC25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus. That's code TRAFFIC25.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Graham, explain the music choice coming out of break.
Oh, yeah, brother. What you gonna do when Graham Mania runs wild on you, Tim?
You lived up to the hype.
That's all you need to know.
That's
Nothing else to say.
Duke and NC State, they're on byes this week. We're talking college football. Teams moving in maybe different directions. Kind of each proving their preseason expectations wrong. Duke saying we're much better than everybody thought. NC State saying maybe not as good as everybody thought. How should they be spending their buys? 2 games left for each of them. Duke trying to set themselves up for the best possible bowl. They're already bowl eligible. NC State trying to get bowl eligible. I think they spend their buys in 2 very different ways. Duke, and this is me trying to put my coaching hat on, but also thinking back to my playing career on the things that I think worked, got in our brains the right way as players. Duke, I think the coaching staff should be hard on them. I think the coaching staff should run them. I think the coaching staff should put them in full pads a few times in the bye week, unless you're a starter and you're hurt or you're nursing something. Other than that, do some things you haven't done since training camp. And the reason being is Duke is good. People are telling them they're good too, right? There are people out there saying, wow, didn't expect you to do all this. Oh, look at this. Coach Diaz got you going in the right direction, huh? Oh, look at this. You beat NC State and UNC in the same season for the first time since 2013 and the second time since 1990. The hardest bye week I ever had as far as physical exertion in my playing career was the year we eventually went to the national championship. Now, this was FCS. I was at the University of Delaware, different than the ACC, but you know what I'm saying, right? We were 7-1, maybe 7. We might have been 7-0. We were good. We were nationally ranked, one of the best teams in the country. We had NFL scouts at our game every single game. We were good, and that bye week, you would have thought we were 1-7.
Yeah.
I was a backup quarterback for the bye week. They took the backups out of the non-contact jerseys. They told the defense that they weren't tackling well enough and they weren't getting the quarterback on the ground enough. Keep in mind, we were the number 1 defense in the country. Multiple NFL players up and down. Our middle linebacker went on to lead the Falcons in tackles for 3 straight years. Our starting safety and one of our corners played for the Bears. Our corner was on Seattle during the Legion of Boom when they made it to the Super Bowl in the secondary. We were a great defense for the FCS level. I understand FBS. Oh, NFL players, they don't excite us. FCS level, if you have that many, yeah, people get jacked. We had the best defense in the country. They were telling us they weren't tackling well enough, so the backup quarterbacks needed to be out of the green jerseys that told them they weren't allowed to hit us so they could practice getting the quarterback on the ground during the bye week. Was not a very fun week for me as the backup. But we came out of it. We made it all the way to the national championship. We should have won the national championship. We were up 19-0 at half. I don't want to talk about it. But that bye week kind of set the tone for the second half of the year. Now, I'm not saying Duke's going to go in a national championship, but I'm saying when you're overplaying your expectations, sometimes I think the best thing a coach can do is let you know you're not special, right? Let you know that, hey, you've made a lot of mistakes. You had a double-digit lead against Miami in the second half, and you didn't close. And for that, please report to the goal line, gentlemen, and then you're going to be running.
You forced 5 turnovers against SMU. 6 turnovers against SMU. And offense, you really had nothing to do except you didn't really reward the defense for it, and you failed on the 2-point conversion. Now, I get that's part of that's on the coaches, but the players got to go out there and execute, get on the goal line.
Yep, it's. I think this should be a very, very hard week for Duke because you don't have a game on Saturday that you need to be rested for. When you're on that conveyor belt and there's a game every Saturday, every Thursday, Friday, whenever it is, coming down the pipe at you, then you can't go that hard on a Wednesday because that'll affect your performance on a Saturday. Today, Thursday, if you're back and you're practicing, go nuts. Run them.
And also, once upon a time when Duke, coming out of their first bye week of the season before they played Florida State, 5-1 before they became bowl eligible. Gasparilla Bowl was, no offense to the Gasparilla Bowl, but that was not in the cards for this Blue Devil team.
And if I'm not, well, let me find out when their bowl or their bye week was.
It was before Florida State.
It was before Florida State. Yeah, so they were coming off a loss to Georgia Tech, and I would say they didn't even play great against Florida State. I think they should have won that game by a bunch more. Passing game really didn't work. So, point being, I think this is an opportunity to set the tone. Don't believe your own hype. Get to work. For NC State, it's a little different.
Whew.
NC State, I think it is specific. I think it's a game week. I think you are putting in plays and running scout team as if you are playing Georgia Tech this Saturday. I think it is, as a lot of times like the bye week, you don't get into much game plan, right? There's a lot of focusing on you. You do a lot of fundamentals. You work on your own plays, but you're not really going up against the scout team running the opposing team's plays very much because there's time for that next week. State needs a win. They just need one. They have Georgia Tech and UNC. You got to find a win. Georgia Tech is coming off a bye as well, so it's a level playing field. It's not like they have to, with the Panthers on bye, the Chiefs have to worry about the Bills this weekend. The Panthers don't. So they can start up next week focusing on the Chiefs, and you're at the same playing field as the Chiefs. Georgia Tech's on a bye and NC State's on a bye. So you don't you can't start on Monday at the same time they do. Pedal to the floor to get one win. Go ahead and go game plan specific. Secondly, coaches, it's going to be a long week for you. You should be watching UNC already. You should be getting a leg up on the next game. The next two games are wildly important. So, I'm not saying every game isn't, but I believe in the importance of bowl eligibility. We talked about it earlier this week. It's your bye week is not a bye week. It's not a rest week. It is a be extra prepared for Georgia Tech and UNC week. If Georgia Tech surprises you, it better be something that is a completely and totally unscouted look. We've talked with Mike Glennon about this, former NC State quarterback, longtime NFL quarterback. He said in the NFL, they pretty much focus on the 4 games previous. So if you're playing the Panthers this week, you look at the 4 games that the Panthers have played most recently. Because anything beyond that, they could have changed by now, and you're not gaining enough. Heck, look at the Georgia Tech's last 15 games. Why? Because you have the time. You don't have a game this week. Leave no stone unturned. If you're going to be surprised, it better be nothing that Georgia Tech or Brent Key or these coordinators have run ever. They're going to have to work to surprise you. It can't just be like, oh, we haven't run this in a couple months. Let's surprise them with it. You should know that. You should see it. You should be prepared for it. It's bowl eligibility or bust. That's serious. And same thing for UNC. Get a jump. Right? If your offensive coordinator is scouting Georgia Tech, have your wide receivers coach scouting UNC and come with the most detailed game plan possible once you hit that game week. It's different. You've put yourself in this situation only having 5 wins up to this point. Now you have to go earn your way out of it with your bye week being sacrificed. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. What do we have coming up here on 99.9 The Fan? We have Overdrive coming this way, which will feature our interview from earlier today with the Durham Sports Commission about a couple of events coming this way. And we are starting with, I believe, Canes Talk. All right, we're starting with Canes Talk to start Overdrive. At 6:30, we're turning things over to the ECU Tulsa pregame show. There's Thursday night college football here on 99.9 The Fan. So the pregame show from 6:30 to 9:30, opening kick at 7:30. So all the Pirates fans in the area, buckle up. ECU's record, speaking of bowl eligibility, we're just kind of going through that with NC State. ECU is currently 5-4. So a win against Tulsa tonight would make them bowl eligible. So that's something to pay attention for. I'm all for having every team in the region be as good as possible. So shout out to the Pirates. Let's go.
I'm a stat guy, and it's just some key numbers to watch out for if you're a Pirate fan. Tulsa leads the series 9-8, and has won. I believe they won the previous matchup against the Pirates.
Okay, so little revenge game. Is that what you're going for?
And this is Blake Harrell's first true game on the road since taking over as interim head coach.
Oh, road games are interesting for actually interims. Interims get those little boosts, right? Especially if you're a beloved assistant. All right, we're going on the road. Let's rally around each other. You get those little one-game boosts. So I'm not super worried about them not showing up. I would expect a good game, but you can hear it right here on 99.9 The Fan. So enjoy Overdrive. Enjoy the game later today. We'll be back. Graham will be with us again tomorrow. Dennis is still out, getting a jump start on the weekend tomorrow. We'll get you set up for the weekend. All the games, all the action. Should be a really fun show. Follow us on YouTube. Subscribe, 99.9 The Fan. Until tomorrow, for Tim Donnelly and Graham Hill, thank you for listening. Have a wonderful evening, everybody.